camp, and this is the place to talk about it. WKRK-FM and HD1 Cleveland Heights in Odyssey Sports Station. We are Cleveland's sports radio, 92.3 The Fan. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
92.3 The Fan, 2020 Sports.
Well, to avoid the broom, the Guardians need to bring the bats against Texas on Wednesday, and they did. Bottom of the second, big blast from David Fry.
Right to right field. Hit it pretty well. Back goes Duran, still going back to the wall. He leaps, he can't get it. It's gone. A 3-run homer for David Fry. And the Guardians with a big second inning. They get home 5.
That Cursey Guardians TV. Good guys win it 9-4. Austin Hedges, 2-run homer, drove in 3, scored twice, chased a Lauder 3 hits, including an RBI single, scored a run. Joey Cantillo got the win, went 5 innings, gives up 2 runs, 3 hits, struck out 4, did walk 5. Guardians back within a game of the White Sox for first in the AL Central. Chicago would lose to Baltimore 6-1. Boston Celtics been shopping Jaylen Brown. Reports say a deal is happening. Celtics sending Brown to the Philadelphia 76ers. In exchange, Boston gets back Paul George, 2 first-round picks, and 2 second-round selections. Cavaliers announcing the sign of Malik Thomas on Wednesday. Thomas, the 34th overall pick in the NBA draft. He was taken in the second round out of Arkansas. Reports say Thomas gets a 4-year deal worth $9.3 million. World Cup action in Santa Clara last night. The United States beating Bosnia-Herzegovina 2-0 for just the second time in World Cup history. The U.S. wins a knockout round game, the first coming back in 2002. In the round of 16, the U.S. will take on Belgium Monday in Seattle. Can now find 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Get the best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas. Up next, time for the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima here on 92.3 The Fan.
Summer's here, and Brown's training camp is just around the corner. Stay locked in with The Fan all summer long. The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima.
That one way outside and gets away from Diaz again. Here comes DeLauder. 7-3 Cleveland. Hedgie the batter. He'll hit that one to left. Hit it pretty well. Back goes Smith looking up at the wall. It is gone. Austin Hedges. See ya. 2-run homer. His second of the year. Cleveland back up by 5. In the air to left. Kwan going back. On the track. Makes the catch. And the game is over. Cleveland a winner. 9-4. And a 3-up, 3-down 9th inning for Matt Festa.
The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima. This is Cleveland's Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
Audio courtesy of Guardians TV. We'll get to that coming up here in a bit because I think the Austin Hedges home run at the end of the game was absolutely crucial and huge. And I'll get to that coming up here at about 7:45 and about last night. I hope people recognize that. It was a big win. It was a big win for a bigger reason than we may think. Well, it could be a big win for a bigger reason than we may think. Got to see whether or not the bats come alive again this week against the Chicago White Sox. Tone, last night I watched the pageantry. I watched the beginning. I assumed that Team USA was going to win. Team USA wins. How much of it did you see?
I watched the whole thing. I had the whole thing on.
You watched the whole game?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's a good thing about soccer. You get out in a tight hour and a half.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
It's
beautiful.
It really is.
It really is, I think, the best thing for somebody who doesn't love soccer and somebody who knows nothing about soccer. I was researching why the one dude was even on the United States team because it didn't appear he had much to do with the United States at all.
Okay.
So I love that. We're so patriotic. And then I'm like, why is he even American?
Nick Kovac got me a cape. I was going to wear it in the last segment.
Oh, absolutely.
But now I might wear it now.
Yeah, throw it on there.
He got me a United States cape. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see. I don't know if it's going to fit around my fat neck. Oh, it might. It might actually do that. Okay, go ahead and talk.
So I am trying to defer to the experts on this stuff because I think I was like everybody who doesn't really know anything about soccer, looking up what a red card means in the World Cup games. Like we're missing.
Don't you get thrown out after a red card?
We miss them for the next game. This is the problem. We're in the Sweet 16 now.
Oh my God!
Which they do not call it the Sweet 16.
What do they call it?
Round of 16.
Okay, that makes sense.
So boring.
Well, it's not boring. It's what they call it. My fingers are too fat to tie this.
I think Americans should just call it the Sweet 16.
Well, okay. Well, now you're getting into a whole thing here. Because, it is not our game. Now, we are participating in the game, and I know that we like to take things and make it our own. I understand that. It's a country that was born on taking other things and just like, okay, French fries, American, whatever. But, you're going down a weird slope there. Because if you say offsides, someone's going to correct you.
Which I did. I got corrected this morning.
Does the cape look okay?
Yeah.
Okay. If you're watching on YouTube Live,
the problem is you can't see much of it on the camera. You only see maybe...
Well, if I put it this way, it's like a bib.
Yeah, you can only see a couple stars.
Now I'm like at a hot dog eating contest. Here you go.
Looks like a hot dog.
Yeah, now it looks silly. But it's July 4th. This is the time to look silly.
Oh, I'm a silly guy. So which way should I put it? Should I put it that way?
No, for the rest of the segment, you definitely got to keep it like that.
I'm going to keep it like this.
It's very distracting, but you have to.
I could tie it like an ascot if you want me to and try to get like a jacket.
Do some origami.
Okay,
Heck yeah.
I'll see what I can do.
Turn it into a brooch.
We'll see what we can do with this. It looks. I like it. I like it. Now, it is a cape. It's not like the flag. I'm not desecrating the flag here, everybody. So it's offside, not offsides. It's not that, remember. And we call it soccer. Everybody calls it football. Everybody knows that. I jump into it every 4 years. And it's always a big thing. I think it obviously has gotten bigger in the United States. I don't know why. And I think that this is like a bygone era. It's like the bygone era. Like there's things that were true in the 80s and 90s that just aren't true now. Which, by the way, I saw a terrible movie I got to tell you about later on. But I think that soccer's found its place, and we don't need to have that terrible conversation every 4 years about soccer in America and whether or not it can, quote unquote, break through. I think it's found its spot. I think there are soccer fans. I think there are people who are soccer fans like, hey, you know what? I like the Browns. I also like the soccer. It's no big deal. I like Ohio State. I like the Browns. I like the soccer. It's like part of their product ladder.
Well, the question is, the further they go, does this lead to, you say they've already broken through.
Yes.
But not at the level of
well, wait a minute.
Yes, there are
you're
people
talking about
that
the World Cup. I'm just talking about in society.
Yeah, there are people that go, obviously there's a bunch of bars that have, English Premier League and have
they should all be showing it by now.
La Liga, but yeah, there's enough TVs you can show
League.
everything.
Yeah.
But how
World
big
Cup.
of a deal is that stuff here? That's the question. How big of a deal is that stuff always? And gambling ratcheted up some of the love of the sport.
If you love gambling that much, then you're going to have an interest in the sport because it's something that you see and you can gamble on, apparently. Now, I don't know how you would gamble on the soccer, but I'm not a real big gambler, and I respect the soccer, but obviously I'm not a big watcher of the soccer. My whole point is I think it's found its place in the United States. I think it's found its I don't want to say niche, because I think it's more than a niche, but I think it's found its spot where, yeah, people really like it, and I think it's accepted among the American sports. And that's fine. I don't think we need to have the stupid argument anymore. I mean, the discussion, if you want to have the discussion, fine, but the argument's dead. Like it's there. Like you have football, baseball, basketball, hockey. You have soccer. All right, golf. Auto racing.
Ken's
I
just
like auto
naming
racing.
a bunch of sports
I'm
now.
just naming a bunch of them because I'm telling you,
pickleball. That's
in
also
there.
a sport.
Pickleball is a sport, but it's not in there. Pickleball is, I don't know what that is. It's probably getting up. Are we coming out of the boom of pickleball?
That's
or is the boom still going on?
It seems like every week there's a new big investment into pickleball.
Kayla says the boom's still going on with the pickleball. All right, so the boom's still going on, but certain sports have a boom and then they come back to.
Yeah, but we never stop arguing about pecking order. Think about how for the last 3 years it's been as baseball overtaken the NBA. And now this year it's like, whoa, wait a second. Now the NBA is back on top.
And that's a great point, but that's the reason you bring this up, because these are inherently American things. Mm-hmm. The baseball, the NBA, the NFL, these are inherently American things. Hockey, part of why hockey's fourth is hockey's not ours necessarily. It's Canada's. The reason why soccer is not in the top three is because it's not ours. It's somebody else's. And by the way, I don't know why that's not okay. That's perfectly okay. You can like other things. You can like F1. You can like European things. You can like Canadian things.
The question is,
that's
though,
perfectly fine.
We've always put a ceiling on how big the soccer can be here.
And I don't think we need to.
Does this change that?
I think it would, but I don't think we need to. I don't think there needs to be a ceiling.
As a byproduct of this run that they are embarking on as we speak, and now they get ready for Monday, July 6th against Belgium. Does somebody have the rankings in front of them? Belgium's absolutely loaded.
They are
I'm being told.
a good soccer team.
I've never, until yesterday. Yesterday, I was watching Belgium in that amazing game against Senegal. That amazing match. I'm sorry. That amazing match.
It's a match.
Yes. Did they call it overtime?
Brother.
Probably not. Free time?
Extra time.
Extra time. Yes. But it was an amazing day of soccer, and I'm just wondering what this means. I'm rushing to find out what it means.
But I don't think you need to anymore.
But we do that.
What I'm saying to you.
We do that with the World Series in baseball when it's the Dodgers.
Because again, and I hate to keep taking it in circles, there is a contingent of people who they root for NFL ratings, and they'll like stick it. Because you're a basketball guy.
It's unbelievable. That's all I see.
I just think part of it is that they know you love basketball, and they want to stick it to you no matter what way they can. They feel like they are a part of your.
Then
they listen to the show.
Soccer fans should stick it to all of us about how high these ratings are going to amass.
But I don't think that that's the right thing to do. You catch more flies with honey, Tone. Like when people start to starting fights with me over NASCAR, I'm like, okay, great. I'm not going to be bothered by that. You'll come to it or you won't come to it. That's fine.
What is cool
and when it comes to soccer, I don't think we need to have these fights anymore.
That the soccer is at our doorstep. Some of the most famous, richest athletes in the world are all
playing the soccer
right now, with all eyes on it internationally. And your team, the United States men's national team, rolls off the tongue. And they are here in what I am calling the Sweet 16, but nobody else is calling the Sweet 16.
Lima wants to find a mascot, which wouldn't we just be called the Eagles? Would we be called the Eagles or the Patriots? Because you don't like that it's called the United States men's national team because it doesn't roll off the tongue.
Yeah, we need
USMNT.
Is it just USA, and is that ubiquitous? Do people know what that means? If you just say, yes, what time is USA on today?
I mean, this is the USA.
Mm-hmm.
I think people understand when you say USA, they don't think of anything else but the good old USA.
What is everybody calling the team? That's what I'm asking.
They're calling them the Americans or the U.S. men's national team or the USA.
You just said three different things, so clearly not everybody is calling it that.
But everybody knows what they're talking about when you talk about America.
So what is you guys tell me, what are you calling this?
The team?
Yes.
The Team USA.
You don't even know.
Team USA.
You don't even know.
They're calling you Team.
Kenny doesn't know.
216-474-0092. They call them Team USA.
Okay. We call the basketball team that too, though.
Team USA, because they all represent the same thing. They can play different sports.
They've got to have something of their own.
You call Bay, even if they play different sports.
But every team has to have a first
Do they call them the
reference.
Lady Rockets? Because I don't think the Rockets are gendered.
Oh, boy, that depends on team to team, right?
Now we have ourselves a real discussion on our hands. And
All
it's
I know
not
is
even
this.
Friday at 9:45.
All I know is this. I knew none of these dudes except for Pulisic about a month ago.
And that's fine.
And now one of the guys I know can't even play in the next game.
What? Oh, because he got red
carded. How do you feel about your sport? Fix your sport.
The Rasheed Wallace of soccer.
The bad boys of the United States. Fix your damn sport.
It's true.
They call them the Stars and Stripes and the Yanks.
Nobody calls them that.
No, I've never heard that.
That's what it says on
I've never heard
Wikipedia.
Stars and Stripes in the Yanks.
So it's popular nicknames overseas.
We're not
for
getting
our team.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. This is Cleveland, Ohio. Do I care about what they call us overseas? I do not. I want to know what Americans, maybe some Canadians who might be listening, I want to know what they are calling Team USA. And by the way, I watched a lot of the late, great Patrice O'Neal, and I remember the jokes about being called a Yank. I think they use that in not the nicest of terms.
No, not the greatest.
When they call us Yanks, there's a tinge in the voice when they call us Yanks over there. All right? So they better find a different word for it, because we end up winning this thing. It's ours. Boy, what a great year. What a great year.
Can you believe this dude can't play?
Love all this, man. Finally, we are. You think about this. We are coming around as a country. Before it was just the first three. Now you got the hockey winning. You got the soccer kicking ass and taking names. This is great stuff. This is damn good stuff.
And yet now there is no way to appeal the fact that one of our best dudes cannot play in one of the biggest games in the history of American soccer.
Just like what we say during the 2023 Magical Brown season, next man up.
Wait.
During the 2020 Magical Brown season, next man up.
Can we get Kessler to sue FIFA?
Jeffrey Kessler
Since
to
he's
sue him.
not working anymore on the Sorsby case.
No.
Can we pivot?
It's either that or they do what the Sorsby does and he got ready for the next draft and they're going to get ready for 2028.
Do you think Sorsby...
I don't want that to happen.
I know he had deleted the apps. Is he going to get one of the apps now since he's not playing college football and bet on the United States? Can he throw some money down?
I don't think that's a good way to get ready for your NFL draft next year.
Of
course, he does have some downtime right now.
If this is as big a deal as everybody is telling me, then let's go.
It is a big deal.
Let's go.
It is a big deal. Of course, Keith, it's only happened every 4 years. Yeah, but and that's okay, guys. That's okay.
So the Ryder
it's good
Cup?
that it's here, and there's fish in a barrel. I mean, you mentioned the Ryder Cup. I'm not the biggest Ryder Cup guy, I got to tell you. But when it comes to this, this is great. You got packed stadiums there. I thought England was going to lose yesterday to Congo. Did you see that?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
I thought for a second I had to ask online because, again, I'm exploring. I am exploring. I don't know. Teach me. And I thought, well, is it like App State beating Michigan? Which several people said yes, and then there were plenty of people like, well, Congo's not bad. I mean, remember, it's the World Cup, so you got to be good to be in the World Cup. Unless you host it, but you get what I'm saying. And the United States is legitimately good, so you can't say anything to them.
How do you feel about them adopting the Country Roads song?
I like it.
Is Country Roads getting too big?
No, it's right. It's right where it needs to be. What other song would you play? It's either that or Sweet Caroline. I love Neil Diamond, guys, and I know he's not doing so well, but John Denver, the late great Country Roads. That's a perfectly fine song. Yes, I'm glad you watched. I'm glad you're swept up into this.
Did you like that the dude that cannot play in the next game did the LeBron celebration after he scored not one but two goals, but one goal was revoked because of offside?
And you said it the right way with no S at the end.
I made sure to.
That's what you did.
Look at how much we have become a soccer show.
It's your home for soccer.
Have you gotten analysis like this anywhere else?
You got to understand, and we are this is what's also great about the United States, is that we also have our own rivalries within the country, obviously. And so if you were in Cleveland, if we had an MLS team here in Cleveland, because we're obviously Cleveland-centric, I know there's one in Columbus, but you know how I feel about Columbus, we would be paying way closer attention to MLS. Like when we get our WNBA team here, you're going to be a WNBA guy in some form.
I challenge any of the sports talk shows in Columbus to do the segment we just did about soccer. I challenge them.
I mean, there's guys down there who know soccer, so I think you're going to lose that challenge. Don't do this again.
Does Bo know soccer?
Don't do this again.
Bo knows soccer.
Don't do this again. Because I had to text people down there. I'm like, hey, this is a Lima thing. Don't bother me with this. I'm just trying to go about my day. Leave those folks alone. They're nice down there.
Are we doing a watch party Monday? That's my question.
For the soccer?
Yes.
What time?
8 o'clock.
At night?
Prime time, baby. United States and
That's kind of late. I'm going to watch that. I'm going to watch that in bed. Do I have to abstain from waffles until the end of that match?
Let's go. I'm all in. I told you I watched a World Cup final in the French embassy, and they were playing Italy, and they served pasta.
How did you watch that at the French
I was covering
embassy?
it. I was covering it. It's part of the Masters capstone program.
I love how you used to be a Big J journalist. I mean, if you're watching online right now, I think everybody would guess who the Big J journalist was.
Look at Kenny's outfit. I love it. It's about time this show got patriotic. It's about time.
It's a cape, but I'm wearing it forward. Yeah. All right. Coming up at 8:20, Mary Kay Cabot. She's a hell of a patriot.
She'll be watching.
Cleveland Plain Dealer, Cleveland.com. Coming up in 5 minutes.
Soccer's big on the West Side.
As good as our World Cup coverage has been, we have to cover something else because Jaylen Brown's having to 76ers. And, boy, they acted like the sky was falling yesterday afternoon on Afternoon Drive. So I want to ask you about this in 5 minutes because we got to know whether or not that hurts our chances of getting back LeBron. I want to hear from you about that in 5 on The Fan.
In your
with the Blossom Festival Band, followed by a spectacular fireworks display. Under 18s are free on the lawn all summer long. A salute to America, July 4th at Blossom. Get your tickets now at clevelandorchestra.com.
Hear the big moves from around the NBA every 20 minutes. Your source for sports is Cleveland Sports Radio. 92.3 The Fan.
All right, took off the cape for a minute. I'll put it on later. Mary Kay Cabot going to join us 8:20 this morning. Jaylen Brown got sent to the 76ers last night. A lot of people in Boston upset about this trade. Apparently, according to Shams Charania, Jaylen Brown never requested a trade. This will put, to some folks, a bit of a dent in the LeBron hopes. Let's listen to some of our friends over at our sister station, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Here's Tony Maserati. He hates the trade.
I hate it with a freaking passion. This was a salary dump or a contract dump, or define it however you want. This is ridiculous. This is a ridiculous trade. Paul George is 36 years old, and to save 1 year of money, Jimmy, is what you're telling me, that George is getting paid for the next 2. Is there any sort of player option or anything after that?
Not that I'm seeing.
So the Celtics just traded a guy that they took with the number 3 pick in the draft, who's been here 10 years, who's MVP of the NBA Finals, wingman to Jason Tatum, if not his equal, pretty damn close. And they traded him to the Philadelphia 76ers for a 36-year-old guy who looks like he's getting near the end. There was a little bit of a resurgence there in the postseason, but a guy who's been a failure pretty much everywhere he's gone since he left Indiana. 2 firsts and 2 seconds. I hate it. It was a money dump. That's all it was. And the Celtics now today are worse than they were yesterday.
Christian Arcand, 93.7 WEEI in Boston. He went a little further with it.
I hate this. I can't believe how bad this is. Every single rumored trade that I saw is better than this. This is worse than the Luka Doncic trade. I'm not kidding. I think this is worse than the Luka trade. You're off the hook, Nico. This is one of the worst trades in Celtics history, maybe. And you got to remember, Danny Ainge was a very good executive for a long time. Brad started off his executive career very well. Red Auerbach was here for a long time, made some good trades. The Pitino era is probably as bad as it gets since like the Chauncey Billups trade, maybe. This is awful. I can't believe this. I want like a welfare check on Brad Stevens. Did he make this trade under duress? Is he being tortured somewhere in a CIA black site? Yes! What happened?
So they're very upset about this. Yesterday, the initial reaction on Afternoon Drive, they were very upset. I mean, they thought that this was a huge dent in our hopes to be able to get LeBron James here. Now, you hear how much they love Jaylen Brown over there in Boston. This is a big move. The 76ers became very good. That's another team that people are going to put over you in the Eastern Conference here.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Oh,
I'm not necessarily sold.
Let's hear you. Let's hear you on that. I'm fine.
I am stunned. I'm stunned, too. I think everybody is stunned. Not the analytics community. There are some people out there who said, actually, Paul George was better than Jaylen Brown last year. And I'm like, I give up.
Guys, you can find
the white flag.
But you understand my point is, I can find any number, any metric to make something good or something bad. That's my issue with it.
I thought he was one of the best basketball players in the entire league last year. He would have been on my first team if I had a ballot.
Like, never stop exploring, never stop thinking, but it just sounds to me like you're trying to find ways to fudge numbers in a quarterly earnings report. Like, that's how that comes off to me. You know by your eyesight sometimes what's going on. And I don't mean to have gut feelings, and I'm not trying to argue against intelligence, but some of that stuff, we know which player is the better player. Come on.
And just think about, and I'm just as guilty as I think everybody around the league was when talking about potential Jaylen Brown trades. We were wondering, is it an Evan Mobley swap, Donovan Mitchell? And then you see what actually got traded, and it was, the cadaver that is Paul George, who did have some nice moments in one round of the playoffs this year. But holy cow. I mean, this is a guy that a lot of people thought his contract was untradeable. And so he gets moved. Bill Simmons says he had one of the worst contracts in the NBA, and he got swapped. I know there was some draft equity as well, but this still is absolutely stunning that this went down the way it did. Much in the same way that the Luka trade, when we were wondering why wasn't this available to the rest of the league? Like, if you told everybody around the league that this is the value of this player, then other teams would have gotten in.
So do you believe that this really hurts our chances to get LeBron?
No,
because there seem to be some.
I'm a little surprised that people took it that way. Although, did you see that Mike Gansey's brother tweeted out an old school picture of Gansey in high school? Because
did Mike Gansey's brother go to school in Northeast Ohio?
I imagine he's
then
an Olmsted Falls guy.
I assume, but we don't know because I'm asking whose side are you on? Don't you want
brothers.
LeBron?
So
well, fine, but okay, it makes sense.
But it's funny. He had a picture, and I'm like, whoa! All these. This takes me back to my high school days, seeing all these. Got Mike Patrick from Perry, all these really good players, and then Gansey is standing next to LeBron, and it had people going, "Is LeBron going to sign in Philly?" Maxey is a Rich Paul client.
Well, everything's a possibility at the very end because
nobody would have saw that coming.
Well, it's 7:20 because I got to tell you, I think. I'm going to bring up. I'm going to get deeper into it a little bit at 7:20. I want to tell you this right now, but he spent 8 years of his career with the Lakers, and if you heard any of the Lakers fans over the last 48 hours, like they're not mad, but they're just nonplussed over the last 8 years. They won a championship. I understand it was the bubble. They won a championship. It was a business transaction of business transactions, and so if you're one of these other cities. You're going, well, if he was willing to go to the L.A. and they're not even going to build a statue of him and people are arguing against retiring his number out there, which is like, well, he's one of the top 3 greatest players of all time. You probably would anyway, but that's not my argument to make. Yeah, if you were in Philadelphia, why the hell not? Why wouldn't you take a swing? If you were any team that's competitive and he told Rich Paul, which he did over 24 hours ago, find the team that have all the teams that are interested, make their best pitch to you, and then we'll get it sorted out over time. So if you're the 76ers, is that not Mike Gansey's job? Is that not the job of the Heat, of the Cavs, of the Warriors, of probably, I'm sure another team will be brought up here over time? It is their job. So now all the other teams in the league, with the exception of the Lakers, obviously, have to find a way to see, or at least have the discussion and have a serious discussion of whether or not, because he's clearly open for business here. Like I will say, with the 76ers making this move, I don't know what he's thinking. It looks online like he's all about home, all about Akron, all about coming back and putting together a part 3. It looks that way. But I can't guarantee how he's thinking about all this. So I think everybody's open. Because if you do have an attractive roster, I think you should have a legitimate chance at this. Why wouldn't you? So I would love to play the nostalgia card. I would love to play the coming back home card. And I do believe we have a good roster. We do have a good roster. These are good basketball players. This is a good basketball team. But if he finds a better, more attractive offer, he may very well just do that. So it's all hands on deck for all these teams because it's not just retirement and all that other crap. He can help a team win. So, yeah, you would do that, Tone.
I'm still shell-shocked, though. I can't believe that this was the return for Jaylen Brown, somebody who I said immediately would be our best player if we traded for him. Obviously, the NBA world does not think the same way. There's no way. Or was there just no sweepstakes at all? Was this just a deal where they called Boston, Brad Stevens, and that was it? They said, hey, keep a lid on it. We're working on this deal. And Brad Stevens didn't turn around to the rest of the NBA to see what he could get for Jaylen Brown?
They got picks. They did get picks. They wanted picks out of it. I know that it doesn't seem like it's the best haul in the world, but again, when you have a guy that's going on...
What do those picks even mean, though, with Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey? Like, how valuable are those picks ever going to be?
You are right about that, but you also have a guy that's going on Twitch, and I understand he did not officially ask for a trade. He did not publicly...
Didn't need to.
Did you see? Yeah. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So you have a very talented... very good basketball player who didn't, quote-unquote, ask for a trade. But if anybody saw your face, you know the cross-eyed face you just gave me because everybody knows, like, okay, good luck getting him to show up to camp. We'll see what he actually does. So if that's going to be the way, the rest of the NBA knows that. You're not going to get full power for that. So he made that trade. Now, could he have gotten something better from somebody else? I would say that you could have got Evan Mobley back, but they're obsessed with picks in Boston. They've always have been, from whether it was Danny Ainge to Brad Stevens. Yeah, they're going to want the picks. And you are right, but they're going to want those picks in return.
I just
wonder. They're going to put it around Jason Tatum, and that's going to be it.
I think me, you, the afternoon show, everybody in Cleveland, anybody who wants the Cavs to do well, who has questions about how this team was going to either pivot this offseason or try to become even better come playoff time. What is Kobe Altman working on? What must he be working on? Because I would be stunned if it's just to run it back without, Dean Wade, Keon Ellis, just run it back. I think he's got to be working on something. And clearly it's not Jaylen Brown because that door has been closed.
What other names are out there then that would attract him?
Well,
I'm asking you very tough questions now because I don't think the general public really knows.
Going into the offseason, I had mentioned, I said we're going to have some uncomfortable conversations after Giannis. They could involve Kawhi Leonard, and people are like, well, you don't want to get older. Other guys that could have some injury risk attached to them. Anthony Davis was somebody I had brought up, Zion Richardson. But could it just be a move for better spacing on Lowry Markkanen? Could it be a trade for somebody like that? Avia, could it be somebody like that? I don't know. What are they going to be working on? Because I'd be stunned, especially with the Raptors getting better and now Philadelphia getting better. I'd be stunned if they are just running it back.
All right, what I'm going to say to you right now, you are probably not going to like what you hear. Let me explain it in 5 minutes because I was kind of worked up a few days ago. I think the Cavs are actually playing this very well. Let me explain. I know you're not going to like hearing that. Let me tell you why I think that coming up in 5 minutes on The Fan. Also, coming up at 8:20, Mary Kay Cabot joins us on the show. Is it just wishful thinking about Denzel Ward's future here? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. Take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app. Folks, if you're thinking about replacing your HVAC,
and maintenance, their team has you covered. Great brands, trusted service, and convenient locations. Book your appointment today at ConsumerTire.com. Your local tire and auto service experts.
Whether you're at the ballpark, on the golf course, or doing nothing at all, get the Cleveland sports news at 923thefan.com or use the Odyssey app.
A lot of Cavs fans upset. They've been mad for years at the Cavs. When's the last time Cavs fans have been happy with the Cavs? It's been over a year.
The day before they traded Darius Garland. The day before Colin Sexton got traded. Hey, congratulations. Colin Sexton signed like a 2-year, $9 million deal or something.
Danny Cunningham. Social media reactions brought to you by
Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
Danny Cunningham said, wow, Colin Sexton has the task of trying to replace LeBron James twice in his career.
Good luck.
Well, 2 years, how much?
And wait, I think it's $18 million, so $9 million a year.
Good for him.
And so he goes from Sex Land when he was paired up with
Darius Garland.
Now he's paired up with Quentin Grimes, so that would be
Sex Grimes.
I swear to God, I didn't realize that.
You feel good that you walked me right into that one and slammed the door
Lakers got
behind
a
me?
really interesting team developing out there, Los Angeles. More on that later with Stephen A. Smith.
Did you ever see the show The White Shadow?
I did.
Okay. It's a very interesting Lakers squad. I think the official team shoe is going to be white New Balance. It is. They might have jorts night out there.
Oh, yeah.
That is something else. Anyway. All right. Cavs fans are upset. Let me tell you something, though. I think right now, oh, God, this is going to come back and bite me in the ass, but I'm going to say it. I think the Cavs are playing this as well as they can. Hear me out on this, please. I know you guys are mad. The Jaylen Brown thing is a hit to some people. Now, there were some people going, Daryl, Jonathan, you guys are way out of line. I know that they freaked out yesterday when the Jaylen Brown trade happened. This is the thing, guys, is Evan Mobley, he is, if you don't trade him, he's a part of your future. You are in a Kobe Altman is trying to thread a very thin needle. Whatever. It is very difficult because I don't think that if Evan Mobley found out that the Cavs were shopping him, quote unquote, I don't think Evan Mobley is going to go to Twitch and do any of the stuff that Jaylen Brown did. That's not it. But a guy who's supposed to be your future, is he or is he not represented by Rich Paul? Who's Evan Mobley represented by? Is he represented by Clutch? Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Well, I'm sure it's still a very good agency. You got to be careful. He is, if he's not traded for a guy who's your right now, he's a big part of your future. And so the Cavs cannot let it out at all that they're having any of these conversations. I believe in some of the texts that we've had, they are obsessed with Evan. They are wanting to keep Evan. But again, everything is true until it's not. Myles Garrett, Cleveland to Canton until it wasn't Cleveland to Canton. Now it's Cleveland to Los Angeles to Canton. Things are true until they're not in professional sports anymore. You cannot accept anybody at their word in a press conference anywhere. Things change. Realities change. The Cavs still can't let that happen. They can't allow a situation where Evan Mobley remembers something like that, his agent remembers something like that. They have to be very careful about this because they are trying to balance a very difficult thing. You have a player that probably has, I'd love for him to give us 2 years. But when you're hearing the stuff from Kevin O'Connor saying that they've already filmed some stuff in Akron, and that maybe is why he's in Akron, and that they're having a documentary series that they're getting ready for, and you have the camera crew that's following him around, it seems like this is very much the last dance.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so when you're trying to trade for a guy, or possibly sign a guy, not trade a guy, but sign a guy and make it an enticing roster for him, there's a couple of scenarios that play out. We all assumed that Jaylen Brown was going to be a big piece of that, and he's not anymore. He got traded to the 76ers. So now you have to figure out, is Evan Mobley enough to bring in LeBron? I don't know that answer. I would say yes, but that's just me being a homer. So Kobe Altman has to figure out whether or not it's applicable to trade Evan Mobley? Can he get away with trading somebody else? Or will that mess up everything?
I just want to know.
There's so many things that have to work out here. He has to keep this tight to the vest.
After we just saw what Paul George got traded for, I mean, you know, and considering what like Luka got traded for, and then some of these deals are so out of whack because then you saw what Bane got traded for that haul just last year to Orlando. Nothing makes sense to me anymore in the NBA. Like, is there any chance Kobe Altman can trick one of these other GMs? Because what Gansey was just able to pull off, the guy that was the understudy and the next in command here in Cleveland, what he was just able to pull off in Philadelphia and getting rid of the Paul George contract is just stunning to me. So I don't know. Maybe we got to stop talking about the trades the way we've been talking about these trades, you know, altogether.
Things have changed.
Yeah, right now, Evan Mobley, until further notice, I'm just assuming he's going to be a Cavalier no matter what.
And it's still untouchable in that case, which a lot of people are turning around and going, okay, well, I'll get rid of Donovan Mitchell for things. I'm going, whoa, you gotta slow down on this. Because just a month
what
ago,
are you getting for
it
him?
felt like Donovan, exactly. Two, it felt like he was untouchable a month and a half ago. And now it's slowly started to permeate through Cavs fans going, well, you know, we already got rid of Darius, and now you got Donovan there. Like, we're starting to say some things that if Kobe Altman said him, he can't take him back. You can take him back. I can take him back. Any fan can. Kobe Altman can't do that. So he has to be very careful about this. He has a guy who out there, James Harden, I don't know what agreement they have in place, but I'm just going to go under the thought that he could just sign with anybody if he wanted to right now. He's got to be extremely careful about this.
Well, the James
Harden, because it's still a good team, guys. Damn it. They're still good.
Well,
you can't just blow this thing up by accident.
Now, on paper, there's more good teams now in the Eastern Conference than it seems like there has been in a long time.
That's true, but they're still good.
But it's still now to me, it seems like the East is still wide open. And I know we're getting caught in it's just the Knicks in the East and in the West, it's San Antonio. Well, that tells us that we haven't learned anything. Tells me we haven't learned anything from how crazy in flux the NBA has been, you know, over the last 8 years, 9 years. It's the Pacers had just emerged, and we don't even talk about the Indiana Pacers.
No.
And now Toronto with Kawhi Leonard, obviously, that is they're going to
be better.
Formidable.
Philadelphia is going to be better. I think the Heat are cooking up something. They're going to be better. And obviously the Knicks, they lose Mitchell Robinson, and he was a nice piece for them. But the Knicks are still the Knicks. I mean, Boston, I don't know if they're going to go quietly into that night, but they take a step back with this move. I think that's clear. But you're still on a good team. You still have a good team. That the rest of the conference got tougher, and they are not yet necessarily done making moves here. So while a lot of people are freaking out over this, again, you could say anything you want and just take it back or act like you never said it. That's 98% of sports talk radio show hosts do that, except for Tone and I. I mean that sincerely, by the way. So why Kobe Altman can't do that? Why would he? If Evan Mobley is available to make a trade to get better, you can do that. Down the line, if he's available to make a trade to get better, you can do that. But he may very well not be, because at the end of this sentence, he's still 24 years old, and there's still a world where he can go through that he does blossom in to a tremendous player, or he blossoms into a player just above what he is, and he's still one of the elite defenders in this league, and is still a guy who can be a scoring threat to you. And he played well in the postseason, with the exception of a couple of clunkers. He played well in the postseason this last year. Kobe Altman has to be extremely careful about what comes out of that office. And nothing being said, while that bothers a lot of fans because everybody else is making moves, is the right thing right now. I believe that firmly. I wonder if the fans do. I bet I'm going to get killed for that. 216-474-0092. Are the Cavs doing well or poorly in this? Because I know that the 76ers just made a move, but you can't just go flying by the seat of your pants to do this if you're going to be that attractive to LeBron James, or if you still just want to be a competitive team going into next year. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, and at 7:22, if you're going to a job you're only doing for the money, you got something in common with an all-time legend. Friends, Ken Carman here.
John's playlist and 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Your day isn't complete unless you know how Cleveland fits into the national sports scene. The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. 92.3 The Fan.
I do think they're doing a good job. Doesn't feel like it, but I do think it. Think and feel is a different thing because you have to keep this under wraps if you're Kobe Altman. Do you agree with me? Oh, boy, I don't like
whether
that.
they're doing a good job?
Because
we got to wait. It's still, everybody wanted to jump on Kobe Altman and bash the Cavs yesterday because Jaylen Brown was just given away.
Until they do a bad job, they're doing a good job because you can't just sit there and make it public that you're trading away, that you're willing to trade away Evan Mobley. You can't just make it public.
The fact that they haven't announced.
Yeah, any goofball on the radio, like we've been saying some pretty strong stuff about Donovan Mitchell here over the last month and a half. And I'd love to dig into it more because, boy, we were talking about this guy being the second greatest Cavalier to ever put on a jersey at one point, and now, oh, yeah, I'll move on from him. Like, Daryl will pack his bags. Daryl will pack his bags. And don't tell me Daryl ain't said it. He said it right to my face. Like, he is more than willing to do it. And I didn't think that it would be a trade for Jaylen Brown that the Celtics would want. Here, I mean, good God. If Donovan Mitchell instead of Paul George, I think you probably could have signed him up for it if you were willing to do so. But Kobe Altman's not necessarily willing to do that because Donovan can be a good facilitator. He can be a good guy for LeBron James to play with. You have the James Harden stuff out there where James has not signed to the Cleveland Cavaliers yet. Now, I've asked, is there any tentative agreement that, hey, we're going to sign you to this? You've gone into a binding deal that you can't sign with other teams. I don't know if that's even legally possible. I just keep asking the question because you're putting a lot of trust into a guy who's only been here for 3 months. And James Harden could go anywhere he wants. That would make monetary sense.
Well, we still don't know the terms of the restructure on Harden, which is huge.
And
it's
guys,
everything.
Guys, we got to understand this. The terms of the restructure, James Harden can go, listen, I'll re-sign with you guys. Evan's got to stay. I'll re-sign with you guys. Donovan has to stay. And I'm sure there's plenty of fans lining up after I say that going, who cares? They don't even like James Harden to begin with. He's still a great player, and he was a good player for us this year. And if you want to bring in LeBron James, he should absolutely make James Harden a better playoff player. Like, there are so many moving pieces to this. It is not as black and white as we make it out to be. So I have to calm some things down here and say, yeah, until it's a terrible, terrible situation, and it may very well go that way, I think the Cavs are handling it as best as they possibly can because you can't let any of this stuff out there. You can't. You can't tell anybody that you're thinking of trading Evan Mobley. You have to go with the exact opposite, and it's the same with Donovan because you have to make sure that James Harden is placated. And obviously, I think that Kobe Altman has a sense of what LeBron's thinking, but I don't have a sense of what LeBron's thinking. I mean, now we're hearing about the 76ers being involved for him. 2 days ago, he's singing about going home, and he's by his pool in Bath. So I can't sit there and claim I know what's going through that guy's head. And I'd love to bring him back. But this is part of the very thin wire that Kobe Altman has to walk. I got to defend it right now.
Well, I can't get nuts on going after Kobe until we see the bigger picture here. Like, I truly do wonder what, as I kind of shared some of the names.
I'll share a worse scenario for you after this. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know when you think about how to improve this team and in the tough cap situation that all these teams are in, because I heard Windhorst and Bobby Marks were on Wendy's pod late last night, and Bobby Marks was like, Brian, how many playoff teams have gotten better in the NBA? And he paused, and they were like, all right, Toronto,
Philly has.
And, Miami was not a playoff team.
Who in the West? No, Miami wasn't.
The Knicks took a step back. Boston clearly took a step back, losing Jaylen Brown. Like, what teams?
Lakers took a step back. Did they? They got Luka, but...
Yes, they took a step back.
Okay, I'm just making sure. I
know they got Kessler, but I'm sorry. Like, they added some pieces and parts on the bench. Holy cow.
I think if you said Walker Kessler to anybody out there in the street, they'd think he's a country music singer.
It is probably true.
I'm Very serious about that.
So that's all I'm saying. Like right now, we only have so little of the picture. We don't even know what the Harden contract situation is because they've already saved money from where Darius Garland's contract was. They swapped out Garland, brought in Harden. Harden was better, got him to the Eastern Conference Finals, helped get him there. So now what? What are those savings going to mean for this team that's lost Keon Ellis and lost Dean Wade?
You're hoping that it means that you're able to find some wiggle room to be able to sign LeBron James for something decent because he's not going to take the veteran minimum for crying out loud, but because you got to make it look good, and I think you can possibly do that. But let me spell out a worst case scenario because I know that a lot of people disagree with what I just said. Let me spell it out worse. What if you let it be public that you're thinking of trading Evan Mobley? And then you're not able to execute that trade? Or what if you're thinking about making it public that you're willing to trade Donovan Mitchell, and then you're not able to execute that trade when you still have James Harden technically as a free agent? I know that not a lot of people are excited about this team. Guys, there's a very real possibility had these things got out, or if these things get out, and you're not able to bring this to fruition, you could be a far worse basketball team than what you were going into this year. And some people, I think, just want to blow it up. You're not blowing it up in that sense because you're not getting all the great things back. You saw what this deal just was for Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, so what would the Donovan Mitchell return be?
Guys, I can't guarantee that you're going to get this plethora, this cornucopia of picks to build your future with back. I really can't. I don't know. This is crazy, some of the stuff that's going on here. So I know I sound frantic right now, but I just have to plead. I've been critical of Kobe Altman before. We all have. Everybody has. But I got to kind of trust him, and right now I can because I haven't heard anything out of that room. I haven't heard anything out of those folks. So as long as I don't hear anything, I'm going to assume that they're trying to work on moves, but I'm also going to know that they're trying to make sure that if they can't make moves, because you got to get two people to do something together, if you can't make moves, then damn it, you still have a good basketball team. It's going to take a hit. Yes, Boston's a little bit worse, but certainly the 76ers and Toronto Raptors, just like you said, are better. It sucks. That part of it, the Heat are better. That part of it sucks. We got to deal with that.
Detroit made a move yesterday, but I didn't think it was anything that was that significant that changed their lot in life in the Eastern Conference yet.
And you know this, if this is a team that, and I fought the label before, but labels are labels, and what makes labels is that they're not fair. I have fought the toughness thing, even though there's been several former players who have lined up and said, Channing Frye even went after him the other day about it last week. There's been a lot of guys going after this basketball team. You know that they're not necessarily the toughest, most headstrong team. I can at least say that. It's much easier for a team like that to go south than it is to go north. And if you let it out of the bag that you're thinking about moving on from any of these guys, that goes south real quick. And then if you know that guys are going to get out of there, everybody knew Jaylen Brown wanted out of Boston. He might not have said it officially, according to Shams Charania, but everybody knew he wanted out of Boston. You're talking 40 cents on the dollar is his comparison to that. What are you getting for Donovan Mitchell at 30 years old as a guard?
Who's about to get paid $70+ million a year.
I would say you'd be able to get great things for Evan Mobley, but I'm looking at the trades in the league going right now going, can we get great things for Evan Mobley now? And he's your biggest piece. He's your one ascending asset, other than Jalen Tyson. But Jalen Tyson isn't going to be the player that Evan Mobley already is. So you got two guys that are on their way up. You got to be very careful with this. So I know I sound frantic because I always sound frantic, but I always have to calm you down and say, hey, it's not over yet. I'm not trying to say things that I don't mean. They can't let the cat out of the bag until all the characters are in place.
See, it's funny. I was going to ask you if it's just LeBron, if that's all they pull off here, how are you feeling about the offseason and Kobe? But then I also think there's no way it's just LeBron. I feel like LeBron
would probably
have
to be somebody
LeBron.
else. Yes, it would probably have to be somebody else. So something may be in the works. So I think Donovan is. I do think Donovan is probably up for grabs of some sense, which would be really earth-shattering to some degree. I think Evan would probably be up for grabs to some sense, which would be, yes, surprising, but I think people are willing to go all in. But before it was, I knew it would possibly be for Jaylen Brown. We could discuss that. Or Giannis. Now we're kind of going into the great unknown. I mean, you're talking about Anthony Davis, Tone. I don't think Anthony Davis whets the appetite of any Cavs fan out there. All I know about Anthony Davis is that he gets hurt all the time. I mean, you're bringing up Zion Richardson. I don't know how exciting that's going to be for a lot of Cavs fans. So when you take out Giannis, who we were talking about in the winter, and LeBron we've been talking about for years, but you take out Giannis that we were talking about in the winter, and Jaylen Brown, who we started talking about towards the end of the postseason, you remove those names. These are household names that people have looked up. The other ones, I don't know if it's as an easy of a sell. So I think you have to have LeBron with those guys, because if LeBron comes back with one of these people, I don't know how excited I'll be about Anthony Davis still, but it makes it easier because you can trust LeBron on the floor. 216-474-0092. Larry in Cleveland, you're next up on the Fan. Hello, Larry.
Yeah, thank you, man. How are you on this hot day?
We're getting by, Larry. Go ahead.
Man, I'd like to say, man, bring LeBron home because we got some unfinished business with the next champions. But most of all, man, we should never back got swept. Damn, because we got too much talent. And then on top of that, he'll show Devon Mitchell how to close games. Devon Mitchell do not know how to close
Donovan
games.
Mitchell, Larry. Donovan.
Yeah, Donovan.
Is that what they're calling him?
No, they're calling him Donovan.
Most of all, man, he's a good facilitator, man. And plus, he brings money back home.
Well, that was part of one of the things, Larry. Larry, thank you for the call, because that's one of the things I thought of when it came to LeBron, too. When Jaylen Brown was still a possibility yesterday morning, I know that he's a cantankerous person right now, but you would think that LeBron has got other people to fall in line, and he probably would get Jaylen Brown to fall in line as well. It might be the same thing with a lot of guys there. But any of these other, like Giannis was exciting. Jaylen Brown was exciting. You need LeBron to help sell some of these other names that are out there. And you're probably not getting any of those other names unless you have LeBron to sell it. So it's twofold.
Is LeBron in that realm at this age, this many years in? Does he have that kind of influence the way that he would have, 10 years ago, even 5 years ago? I mean, obviously, he was responsible for Anthony Davis coming to the Lakers, and then they won a championship. So, he had that pull. Does he still have that pull, that cachet in 2026?
LeBron? I don't know. Is Anthony Davis in his prime to you?
No. But, Anthony Davis, if he was healthy, would be, to me, an upgrade, a huge upgrade. But what are the odds? How do you get Anthony Davis healthy into the playoffs?
You want LeBron back, but you don't know his future. Because for so long it was guys want to play with LeBron, even though I always said they play for LeBron. Now at the end of his career, what do you do long term? Of course, if you win a championship,
there is no
nobody
long-term.
cares.
We're not
but
talking long-term at all.
But I'm saying for the player, what do you do long term? Like if I sign a contract with Cleveland and then LeBron retires,
which is what I would expect.
Am I going to raise hell to try to get myself out of Cleveland? Am I going to do that?
I mean, that happened with Kevin Love.
Or am I so
last time around?
Am I so tight with Donovan Mitchell? Does any of this really go that way? Or does Donovan Mitchell decide on his own accord going into next year? Because I don't think there's really any Cavs fans who are lining up to pay him $60 to $70 million a season.
And that's the other thing. I know we got to go. The Donovan Mitchell part of this is so hard because you wonder if he came to the conclusion after this playoff run in which he was so hopeful, teaming up with Harden, and then to see how it ended, you wonder if Donovan Mitchell is resigned to the notion that he could be the best player on a championship team. Or did he watch what Jalen Brunson just did and have the opposite point of view?
I bet he probably has the opposite.
Well, I wonder. I wonder what Donovan is thinking.
He's a proud man. He's a professional basketball player. He's just turning 30. I think he's still at that level.
Is he thinking if I was surrounded by the right wings the way that Jalen Brunson is?
Let me correct myself. I don't know if he's still at that same. I don't think he's still at that same level. I still think he thinks he's still at that same level. That's what I think. Coming up in 5 minutes, if you're going to a job you're only doing for the money, you got something in common with an all-time legend. And yes, sometimes the numbers lie right to your face. You're going to be shocked at what my friend is going to read to you coming up in 5 on the Fan.
All right, real estate market is so volatile. Good news is if you have somebody in your corner like Ryan Young, Keller Williams, Greater Metropolitan, you are going to be A-OK. How is that going to be the case? Well,
your way towards downtown Cleveland today, things right now, nice and smooth. Jeff Thomas, Odyssey Cleveland traffic.
Headline sports news every 20 minutes from the University Hospital's sports desk. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
There was a show that was called Numbers Never Lie, which was false advertising because I'm going to show you numbers that lie. Well, excuse me. Lima is going to show you numbers that lie.
Well,
lie right to your face.
Yeah, I saw this yesterday with the great Johnny Manziel making the rounds again on social media and sparring with people here in Cleveland.
Do I have to share my opinion of him again to do that?
If you want, sure.
I'll do it after you give me
You have
the
something
numbers.
new?
No, I don't.
Johnny
I
football?
don't. I'll give you. He did write one thing. Well, he wrote several things I had a problem with, obviously, but I will defend one person right off the rip on what he wrote there, going after one of our friends at another station. But go ahead.
I found it interesting that people can't help themselves because everybody was obviously piling on how bad Johnny Manziel was as a Browns quarterback. And then somebody put the side-by-side of his numbers in his starts versus Shedeur Sanders in his starts, and his numbers appeared to be better, which is unbelievable. Because I remember the Johnny Manziel experience, and it seemed like the worst you could possibly have. He did connect on some deep throws. I do remember that.
It wasn't an offense.
No.
It wasn't an offense. And I remember it distinctly. I remember coming in here and Kevin going, "Why are you excited?" I'm going, "Did you see the passes?" He goes, "Kenny, that's not an offense." And I swear to God, in 5 minutes, I went, "Oh, my God." He goes, "I told you." Like, he changed my mind in 5 minutes before the show. Because listen, say what you will, guy knew a lot about football. And Kevin, right off the rip, was just like, "No, Kenny, that's not an offense. Come on. You know that. That's getting lucky on deep balls."
Well,
that's
Travis Benjamin. I remember he linked up with him a couple times in
getting behind the defense of a bad football team at that time.
Game.
Because Tennessee's gone through it almost as much as we have here over the last 26 years. And you know what? He was right. This is why I hate some of the numbers. The numbers lie. If you didn't watch Browns football, you would look at the two numbers between Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, and you would say, Dylan Gabriel needs to be the starter for this football team. Tell me anybody who has eyes or ears if they believe that Dylan Gabriel should be the starter, unless they just hate Shedeur that much. Tell anybody that Dylan should be the starter over Shedeur Sanders based on what they saw and what they heard while they saw it. There's not a chance. And it's the same thing with this idiot. It's the same exact thing.
You're talking about
Johnny,
Manziel, not Shedeur.
And I'll address it because we got to get over it at some point, guys. Like, I said it to Daryl. I know that our friend at the other station said it. This is his act. Is what he does is he says incendiary things, and he said it months ago. He says silly, incendiary things, gets us to react because it draws more attention to him. And I told you on Monday, and I'll tell you again on Thursday, and I'll say it as long as I have to, but I hope I never have to say it because I hate repeating myself on this stuff. If you walk by some derelict, drunken idiot on the corner of the street and he's yelling things at you, on day one, you're going to pay attention. You're going to see it as you walk by going, "Oh, my God, what's that guy saying?" On day two, when you see some derelict, drunken idiot yelling at the corner of the road and he's still yelling about the same things, you're going to go, "I can't believe that guy is still yelling." On day three, you start to ignore him. And it's been how many years? The story's not changed. An idiot is an idiot is an idiot. We got to move on. It was a bad chapter in our lives as Browns fans. I wanted him to be successful. Everybody wanted him to be successful. Tony wanted him to be successful. Everybody wanted him to be successful. Do you think we like sitting here going over bad quarterback after bad quarterback? No, but the worst part about it is that everybody in Cleveland wanted him to be more successful than him. That's the biggest problem. And the guy who really knew the truth, that one sitting across the way from me here, tried to tell all of us. And I will tell you this, how bad I wanted it for the guy. Now you got me going. How bad I wanted it for the guy. I turned around, like I was being shown, like the movie The Penguin. Oh, God, what are you showing me? I turned around and walked out of the newsroom as you showed me pictures of what was being sent to you at 2 in the morning. Before AI, guys, before Photoshop really became a big thing, I turned around and walked away. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to hear it. And by the way, him throwing Mike Pettin under the bus, of the entire ridiculous, disgusting post that he made, because he's an idiot, and that's what idiots do. They just show their ass publicly like that. And that's what morons, and I almost said a different word, dummies do. And so let me tell you this. I'll say this for Mike, all right? He don't need me to defend him. He probably doesn't know about it. He probably doesn't care. Mike wanted him to play. Mike wanted him to play. He wanted him to be able to play. He trusted Brian more because Brian is a professional. And Brian knew the offense. And I will tell it until the day is done. If we really want to get into it, I sat there while he talked about how he wanted to play him. I told you about all that. We had, and I've said this on the air before, we've had long conversations with Mike off the air. Now, some of that, obviously, I'm never going to share. But I will tell you this, he wanted him to play because everybody wanted him to play and play well except for the guy who actually had to play. And he went out there and he embarrassed himself and he continues to embarrass himself. And that's why the only corner of anybody that will accept him is in College Station, Texas, because they don't have to worry about what he did with the Browns and how he embarrassed himself.
Where he still can make $30,000 an appearance.
And good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Incredible.
But in my world, he can make $30,000 an appearance in College Station, Texas, but in my world, guys, in our world, it should be our world, he's a derelict moron yelling on the side of the road. And at some point, you got to go to work. I can't listen to you rant and rave about God and everything else. I got to get to a place. Sorry, my life has to continue. I can't keep doing this every 6 months with this moron.
He wasn't a mixed martial arts fight, so you got to give him that.
Congratulations.
If that's considered work right now. But it's why also.
So I'm done.
So obviously, I like Shador's potential after 7 games more than Johnny Manziel's potential. But I have to say that's why I also, just because I saw some good throws out of Shador, I saw good throws out of Johnny Manziel. I saw good throws out of Gardner Minshew. I saw good throws out of Deshaun Kaiser. Like there's a bunch of every guy in the NFL now, the 60-some quarterbacks that started last year, they all had some nice plays. That doesn't mean they have some great future ahead of them. Like, we're going to need to see a ton more. And fortunately, we will with Shador. That's why he's in a honest quarterback competition this time around. Not the garbage that everybody was subjected to last year. We're going to get that opportunity where Shador is going to get some starts this year. I don't think he's getting traded. I don't think he's getting cut, even though his fans will want him out of here on the first chance the first lolly the trolley chance they get if he doesn't win the quarterback competition. But he's going to get some starts this year. He'll get the opportunity.
The only difference is that there's many differences, but the baseline difference, I should say. The baseline is at least Shador tries to help himself. The other guy didn't. The other guy is an idiot. And guys, I'm tired of punching down. It's the same thing I honestly, I got kind of upset with Jim Bowden yesterday, who had the thing, I'd send Cooper Ingle down. It's a former baseball general manager. No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't have sent him down after that. You wouldn't have done that. And then people agreeing and say, well, Terry Francona would have done that. There's no way on God's green earth he would have done that. We say things for attention. We have to say something with substance. Are we done with that now?
I think so.
Can I be done with this?
I think so.
Or am I going to get drugged into something else in 6 months?
Hey, we have 2 quarterbacks now. Every time I see any of their social media, it's them working out. Saw Deshaun Watson was in the facility throwing to Harold Fannin.
I have way more substantial conversations about Deshaun Watson, who nobody wants to see, than I've ever had about the other guy. 216-474-0092. I mean, absolutely asinine. Mary Kay Cabot going to join us at 8:22 this morning. I can't believe I got this response. I listen, I know we're Cavs fans, and we're trying to get LeBron back here. We're trying to do all this stuff. I put it out to Kolb on the internet, who is he's a writer, and I know him internet-wise, and he's a Laker fan, right? He's based locally. He's a Browns fan, but he's also a Laker fan. He's like the only Laker fan I actually kind of sort of know. I've never met the guy. Seems like a nice guy. And I kind of threw out my list that I made to you yesterday because I've been hearing some things here over the last 48 hours from people in L.A., and I was surprised. I thought I might get hammered by some folks out there for it. Quite the opposite. I didn't get hammered for where I rank LeBron with the Lakers. I got questioned because I didn't put James Worthy and Elgin Baylor and Pat Riley ahead of LeBron James.
Okay.
And I look at the last 8 years of LeBron, and this is what kind of throws me off here. You're going to have to play to his heart because there's going to be two ways to do this. Either A, you have a great team that can win a championship. This is a good basketball team. We question whether or not it can win a championship. You also have the heart issue that comes into it. Let's play with his emotions if we can, which is a terrible way to put it, but there's no other way to put it. Let's play with his emotions, shall we? Those are the two ways to get him. Because I look at the last 8 years of his career, and I look at his time with the Lakers, and overall, with how much heart and soul he plays with, I almost feel like it was wasted. Yeah, bubble championship, I got it. I know they won a championship.
Yeah.
I almost feel like it was wasted. Look at the end of this. I mean, LeBron is arguably one of the two best players to ever play the game. And there is a distinct difference. We did this with Jose. Remember the Jose Miles conversation last year? There is a distinct difference between great and beloved. Because Elgin Baylor was a tremendous basketball player. James Worthy was a tremendous basketball player. I have respect for them. I love the history of sports. I love the history of the NBA. And I just assume that LeBron James, because LeBron James is that great, like, no, he's not Kobe. He's not Wilt. He's certainly not Magic. He's certainly not Jerry West. Jerry West means a lot to those. He means even more than I thought, even though like I was kind of thinking more like, well, you know, he's got a great history with the Warriors and all the other stuff that he's done in the front office. And no, he's still held in such high regard there. And I put Chick Hearn ahead because he did the games for 50 years. And Jerry Buss in there, Dr. Jerry Buss in there. I didn't realize he ranked so low.
Yeah, but
and I'm looking at
we
going,
also,
man, the last 8 years, he was just going to work. But that's all he was doing.
But devil's advocate, didn't we say at the time it wasn't just basketball? Why he was saying to Los Angeles? You said it at the time. You did. I agreed with you. There were a lot of people who were trying to say that this was for his personal legacy, that it's one thing to win championships in Miami and Cleveland, even though they came back from 3-1, one of the greatest stories ever told in the history of sports in the world that we know of. There were still plenty of people trying to say that, yeah, your legacy is your legacy, but now this is the Lakers. This is big time. I think some things that have happened since have had something to do with it. You know, when Kobe tragically dies, that's put in a different stratosphere because now you are with Michael. Michael's never playing basketball, so I always said you're playing against a ghost. You're playing against memory. Now you're playing against a man who got cut down in life in his prime in a tragic way. That went against it when it comes to the legacy there. But frankly, over the last 8 years, he was just going to work. And I think, God, if he would have stayed with Cleveland, or you know what, if he would have went somewhere else, other than the Lakers, what would that have meant to his legacy? Because he's looked at, and I know it just happened, so maybe some calmer heads will prevail here over the next decade plus, but he's just looked at as a great player who wore the uniform there. He's not looked at as one of the great Lakers of all time by any means necessary. If I could name 10 guys right off the rip that Laker fans are correcting me on, where does that put you? But if you would have so the question is, though, had he have stayed in Cleveland, you remember, they kind of had to bottom out after him because of all the assets that were used. So it was trending in a bad direction. They knew they weren't going to be competitive at a finals level. He would have never had the patience for essentially an attempt at a rebuild. You know, that's Milwaukee and Giannis. You know, they saw that firsthand towards the end, too. It's kind of what happens at the end of the road. So what if he was just sitting on 3 championships as opposed to 4?
I understand, but I still think there was probably possibilities he could have won championships with other teams. And I think that it would have meant more with those other teams because clearly his legacy is not tied to the Lakers. We will not share him with the Lakers. We share him with the Heat. That's the other family that he has. The Lakers, this was just going to work every day. And it seems to be something that was just there for his own agenda, for his own personal business, and that would be fine. And that probably is going to be fine. But over the last 8 years, what could you have done over the last 8 years of your tremendous career? That if you would have won another championship, it's proven it just didn't matter to the Lakers fans. And it would have mattered so much more to, obviously, Cleveland, but would have mattered so much more to any other fan base out there.
It's just tough, though, because he did win a championship. So it's hard. There's proof of concept there.
There is. But if it's just business and not love, what really is it? Because it's love here. It's love in Miami. I give the love to Miami. I think that they hold Dwayne Wade in a much higher regard, but they still love him down in Miami. It's a shared love here. With them, it's nothing. And I go, what did you really... You won a championship. Proof of concept. Yeah, you got the ring. Will you wear it as much as the other three? No. You wouldn't, would you? Would you wear that ring as many times as the other three? Would you even bother to wear it compared to the other three that you have? I don't think you would. You're not really disagreeing. I know.
But could you call him the best ever if he only had 3 championships? Like, I think part of his legacy is also that he did it with 3 different teams. Who else can boast?
But what about the concept?
That kind of prowess where they go, they win a championship.
I understand that, but do we call Bill Russell the greatest ever when he has 11? There is something to be said where the game
no one having that argument actually saw him play.
I understand, but that's what I'm saying. Like Rick Barry has even said that. Like, things change over time. And you do have higher performance as time goes on. You have more players. It's different. And now you have a league that's, I would say, physically, many would disagree because they're not body slamming each other and no one's getting Kermit Washington right out there at the free throw line. But you still have a very difficult up and down physical league. And because you're playing against better athletes, maybe it would hurt it. But if nobody's really giving credence to the 4th championship, including a lot of Laker fans, from what I'm hearing, what does that really even mean?
What do you mean? They don't accept the championship?
No, they accept it because it's a championship. But when a great player, when a legend leads you to a championship, Magic Johnson's a legend. Kareem's a legend. When they lead you to champion, I know Jerry West won a championship. It wasn't against Boston, but it was still a championship. When those legends lead you to a championship, it's supposed to put you in a different pantheon. And it hasn't done that. You know, when people join the Yankees, they join the Yankees so they end up out in Monument Park. He's not in the Lakers version of Monument Park there.
Which is funny because his career in Los Angeles is Hall of Fame worthy.
It is.
Just
Absolutely.
what he did in those 8 years is Hall of Fame worthy.
But I think of God, you think of the love, because people are supposed to love basketball. They're supposed to love sports. You think of the love that a fan base has. And I just think it could have mattered so much more, even though it's not in Los Angeles, which is the 2nd biggest market in the country, making it the 2nd biggest market in the world. I get that. But when it just comes down to business, there's no love in business. It's just business. And here, it's love. In Milwaukee, it would have been love. In New York, with the Knicks, big market, it would have been love. That, you're just another trophy in the case. I'd say another notch in the belt, but that's a terrible way to put it. You're just another trophy in their case then. And I don't think to them it matters as much, nearly as much as the ones that they celebrated with Brent Musburger getting beer poured all over him and beating the Celtics and everybody else. So I think, what were the last 8 years for other than business, which is a good thing, but when it comes to the love of the game, didn't matter much. Coming up next at About Last Night, oh my goodness gracious, you are not going to believe how big Austin Hedges' home run was. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, live on The Fan.
XT.
mean, it had nothing to do with me. I mean, they moved the meeting. I didn't miss it. I was just trying to get a sweet haircut.
How it is when you win in Cleveland, man. They love you. When you lose, whew, it's the way it should be.
He's a piece of crap. The kid, he sucks. He's sucked his whole career.
I got rumors about him. He couldn't please his wife, and so now he's divorced.
That sounds really good, but I'm not 6'5", and I don't have the athletic ability to play in the NBA.
Now, the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima give their thoughts on what you might have missed about last night.
Team USA is advanced to the round of 16, or the Sweet 16 as Lima likes to call it, in the World Cup after a 2-0 defeat of Bosnia and Herzegovina, which I had to look up where those both were. That was in Santa Clara.
What did you just mumble?
I said, they're the same country. I don't know where they both were, but they're the same country.
Did you get to hear the joke that everybody was making? Can I say it to you?
Go ahead.
Should we get a bye? We're in the round of 16 now, right? Should we get a bye to the round of 8 because we had to beat both Bosnia and Herzegovina? Hey-o. I also had a boss who said Bolivia Newton-John to me yesterday, which was funny. I had to throw that. It reminded me of Owen. I hope he's having a great vacation.
Well, the U.S., they scored 4 separate times, but 2 were called off because of offside. However, Falorin Balogun, who scored the first goal, he did the LeBron Selly. He earned a red card. He is suspended for the next game. I hate it. It should be the college football rule where you're suspended for the first half. This guy is a masterpiece of a soccer player. He is the arguably the best player outside of Pulisic on this men's soccer team. Like, now they're almost screwed. Like, you're gonna go in, you're gonna have to play Belgium. It's a real European team. It's a real team that has actual aspirations. I think the United States is screwed next round because Balogun is not there.
That's it? You're just waving the white flag?
I'm almost.
How much soccer did you follow before this? I got to know whether to trust you or not.
So my aunt played college soccer at Princeton, so I followed the Premier League pretty closely.
Congratulations on all her success. I didn't know this, John.
Yeah, so...
What's her name?
Her name is Jen Abendanza.
Abendanza?
Yeah.
Abundance. You remember?
No.
Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
No, I hate the rule. I know it's kind of like that in other leagues, like the Premier League. I told you guys off air that if you get a straight red card like Balogun got last night, it's a 3-game suspension. In La Liga, it's a suspension. Like, I hate this rule. Like, there aren't that many games in the World Cup, and I don't think that this is where the Big Four get it right. What do you?
She's in the Mercer County Sports Soccer Hall of Fame.
Yes,
of course.
Oh my gosh.
So
congratulations to Aunt Jen, man.
Was it definitely a foul, though? Is definitely a foul, just not it should not have been a card.
Some people, it definitely should have been a yellow card at least, but people are not happy.
It was an accident. He accidentally, it was a legitimate injury. I know, like, a lot of people oh, really? No, that was serious. That ankle,
just seemed like
ankles aren't supposed to do that.
It seemed like such a physical game, but I have nothing to compare it to because I don't really watch much of this. So it's hard to sit here and opine and talk about what a travesty it is. But it does seem like when you're taking guys out of the next game and they are this consequential, the stakes are this high, and this is, one of the top 5 biggest games in this country's soccer history, right? On the men's side, I know the women have, done their thing for generation. But
does she still live in New York City, your aunt?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think
You've lost me for the rest of the segment. I'm just reading about Aunt Jen, guys. Go ahead.
The Guardians put a beat down yesterday on the Texas Rangers, hanging 9 runs in a winning effort. David Fry, who Ken said needed to step up, homered and had 3 RBIs. So did Austin Hedges. Chase DeLauder racked up 3 hits. Now, I don't know if this is going to signify an immediate future with this team being somehow automatically a powerhouse offense, but it's nice to know that they can occasionally do this and they don't have to, win every game by the skin of their teeth.
Austin Hedges' bat has been better. And I want to tell you why. John, you know why it was such a big home run. Do you know why it was such a big home run late?
No.
Well, obviously it adds insurance.
That's nice.
John knows this because he's a baseball guy. Cade Smith was warming in the pen, which probably should have been a short trip considering how hot it was yesterday. I know that's a joke. Cade Smith was warming in the pen at that time because it was a safe situation. But after the home run from Austin Hedges, they could get Matt Festa up, saving Cade Smith for the Chicago White Sox series. What a team player. What a ball player Austin Hedges is, man. What a renaissance at the plate.
Even hitting nukes, he's a good guy.
man.
Well, how much time do you want to give Cade Smith off? Don't you want to get?
I want him ready for tonight. I want him ready for this weekend. He can pitch 4 games in a row, and we can win 4 games in a row against the White Sox. For all I care,
take over the division. You're a game back. This is a huge series. You got to win 3 out of 4.
Honestly, what's one more day? I understand that there's been some days off, but I got to get ready for Chicago. This was great.
The Lakers acquired former Jazz center Walker Kessler for 2 firsts and 2 first pick swaps, and they also signed him to a 4-year, $130 million extension. So now the Lakers' 3 biggest players are Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, and Walker Kessler, and these guys, well, they lack a certain pigmentation that Stephen A. Smith had something to say about on the Stephen A. Smith Show.
Where the hell the Los Angeles Lakers think they going with a bunch of white dudes? Your 3 top players are white dudes? Really? This ain't golf. This ain't baseball. Hell, it ain't even soccer. In NBA history, when have you seen your 3 most prominent players on a basketball team all be white? And that takes you to the promised land. And Luka's a bad brother. And Austin Reeves is no scrub. And then with LeBron James or some other brothers I get. But those 2 and Walker Kessler? You ain't scaring anybody with that. No wonder LeBron James walked out the door.
Oh, boy, that's spicy. That's a spicy meatball.
Listen, it's what everybody was thinking about. You can't.
That's what the internet said.
Was everybody was thinking about?
It's what I thought.
John, when they brought in Walker Kessler, that's all that my buddies were saying. It was tweets, it was texts. I said the team shoe's going to be Air Monarchs. I even made the thought of, is it good? Do they come with grass stains? Remember Kyrie had the shoes and they came with sprinkles?
Yes.
Do you come with grass stains if you get the Air Monarchs if you play for the Lakers?
I listen. There's a market for this, right? You know, in today's culture wars society. We were laughing though before the show. The only place where it's like okay to talk about this kind of stuff would be the NBA with white players and cornerbacks in the NFL. The white corners, and that's because I'm friends with Dustin. So this came up constantly. Every time he would see one of his own.
Gosh, before Cooper DeJean, Dustin was the last one.
Right?
Well,
now we've had a few, too.
I thought it was Jason Sehorn.
The Iowa connection.
I thought Dustin played after Jason Sehorn, though. Did he?
Yeah.
Didn't he? Yeah. Like, Jason Sehorn was the most famous.
Yeah, Riley Moss. You know, the 2 Iowa kids.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything bad about Dustin's career. But, Jason Sehorn was better. But I think Dustin came afterwards, and then there was nobody for a long time until Cooper DeJean. Is that it for About Last Night?
That is it for About Last Night?
You've done outstanding again, John.
You know, it would be great if certain politicians got behind the Lakers all of a sudden. After saying for years that they should boycott the NBA for the culture stuff. Okay, now all of a sudden a new favorite team.
Is Aunt Jen still a Tottenham fan?
She's not really a Tottenham fan. She just kind of likes the Premier League overall.
It's in her bio,
Is it
though.
really in
for
her
the
bio?
For the Mercer County Soccer Hall of Fame.
She's just a general soccer fan.
Should she get the bio adjusted?
I don't know.
Well, if I'm walking around the Mercer County Soccer Hall of Fame and I see that, it's not accurate. Okay. Just let Aunt Jen know I'm thinking about her. Congratulations. I didn't know she was such a great player. That's fantastic. All right, John, thank you. Coming up in 22 minutes, Mary Kay Cabot going to join us on the show. Are we saying things we can't take back about a certain Cleveland superstar? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, live on The Fan.
This is an Odyssey Sports Minute.
Sponsored by
anything about them shopping Shedeur around. And I don't know what I honestly, I'm not sure what the sense would be in doing it now, because I'm not sure his trade value is that high.
Listen for the MMQB's Albert Breer, Tuesdays at 5:20 on Cleveland's Sports Radio. 92.3 The Fan.
I know you're not a big video game guy, and really neither am I. I play 2 video games. I play 3 technically. I own 3. I used to have one of the old GTAs. That's gone. Because I used to just raise hell. I tried to beat that game, and I got bored with trying to beat the game, so now I used to go and just raise hell.
Your boys didn't find it?
It's gone. It had to got lost in the move from Ridgeville to Streetsboro. We've been in Streetsboro for 7 years, so that thing's gone. I still have Gran Turismo. I have 2 NASCAR games. I have 2 NASCAR games, and I obviously have NCAA football, the last one, 14.
Well, the problem with the GTA is that people are posting videos online of the new Grand Theft Auto.
But you don't know if it's real. They've been talking about that for like a dozen years.
And you can't tell what's real and what's not, and I just assume it's all real. And then I think, why isn't it real? The whole point of the game was to push the boundaries, so let's just push them as far as you can go.
And we've also never patterned our radio show. We've said we've never patterned our radio show after any other show, and that's a lie. I've actually patterned our radio show after the talk radio that you would hear on GTA.
On GTA, right, yeah.
Yes. Which, if you've heard some of the comments that have been made here recently, it's not far off. I'm not a gamer, quote unquote. I don't like the whole not making discs anymore. Physical media. I don't like that they're getting rid of that. That you're basically only buying the idea of NCAA or college football.
If vinyl,
26.
If vinyl could make its triumphant return, have this resurgence all over the place. In fact, we've even got vinyl bars now popping up all over.
Which vinyl's vinyl? It's a rich sound. Well, they would tell you that, if we no longer make if PlayStation 1, if they don't make PlayStation 1 anymore and you can't find any PlayStation 1s, then the discs are no good. But I think that we go a long time before we run out of PlayStation 1s. People are able to fix them. There is a way. There is a will. They'll do it. And I just am uncomfortable not having a physical disc. I remember the first movie I bought from Amazon. And I'm like, they're not sending a disc? And Liz is like, nope. It was Tommy Boy. And I go, I'm not going to get a disc. Liz goes, no. And I go, well, then how do I own it?
That's what's so
goes,
weird.
Well, you own it. I go, yeah, but what if they sell their company? Then I don't.
It's funny when you see the rentals, because we were looking at the Michael Jackson movie that you can now stream, but you have to pay for it. And I've never done that. I've never paid.
Did you see the Drewski thing of that, by the way?
Oh, yeah. So I'm looking at it, and it says
Joe Jackson looked like Ken Carman Sr. there for a while.
It says like $19.99 to rent and then $23.99 to buy. And we just looked at each other and we're like, what first of all,
$23.99 to buy.
Now that we have the entire catalog of movies and the history of the world at our disposal, why do I ever need to watch something like this again? I will watch it one time. That's all. Who needs to buy it for life?
See, you're different. You and I are different people. I put on comfort movies. So I own on Prime, I own Goodfellas, Tommy Boy, Major League, All the Right Moves. Love All the Right Moves. Rudy, Hoosiers, Slapshot. Nebraska, which is kind of dark, but for whatever reason, I've seen that movie 100 times.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that movie. I don't know why. Bruce Dern, he just speaks to me. So many, I have comfort movies that I've kept on Amazon, and I've always been like, well, if they just decide to shut down their site someday or they sell, this is all gone.
See, I can't
wasted hundreds of dollars.
Ever moving forward. I know this is stupid. There's no logic to it. But we all have the classics in our mind of movies, like you just went over it.
Godfather's
Rudy and whatever.
in there.
Yeah, you know there are those movies, and if they ever show up again, you'll be able to go back and it's like anytime Casino's on, I'm watching, right? Anytime any of those mafia movies. I don't think that's ever going to happen again. I don't think there's another movie that can show up that I will watch and then that add to the classics list. The personal Anthony Lima
Really?
classics. I don't think it's possible. I think I'm going to be too rigid and not allow it. I think a lot of the movies during my formative years just became that for the rest of my life. I don't need any more movies. I should be open to it, but I don't think it's going to happen.
So Liz accused me of the same thing, that I'm too rigid, because I don't laugh at anything new. And I told her, I go, because it ain't funny. Oh, by the way, we have a Connie. I forgot the Connie.
We do have a Connie.
PIN, P-I-N, 923thefan.com before 9 a.m. Another word, PIN, P-I-N, for your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to Northeast Wrestling's Wrestling Under the Stars, Friday, July 10th at Avon's Forefront Field. Get tickets at LakeErieCrushers.com. It's brought to you by Wrestling Under the Stars and 92.3 The Fan. PIN, again, PIN, P-I-N. Enter it by 9 a.m. Good luck. I told her, I said, it's not funny. I'll laugh at it if it's funny, but they don't try to make comedies anymore because they don't really want to offend anybody. And comedy by its, like, you shouldn't, I don't think you have to go out of your way to be offensive, but comedy by its nature is kind of on the cutting edge. So there's things that you find funny out of things that are tragic or bad or whatever. And nobody tries to do that anymore because they don't want the internet ripping them and them losing money. So they just make new concepts of the old stuff. I tried to sit down. I tried to watch The Breadwinner. I wanted to tell you about this.
Okay.
I got like... I got this like whole like preview thing. No. And I don't mind anything with Nate Bargatze. Like I got the preview. I got like the preview thing of it, and I go, fine, I'll watch it. I got the code. And like 25 minutes in, I go, no, this isn't. No, thank you. Ain't gonna happen.
There are movies that I watch that I don't even, with big members, big cast
people thought it was
members
supposed
in
to be
it,
funny.
I will watch the movie and forget the name of the movie, and then a month later forgot I even watch it, and that could be even taken into consideration that I liked the movie.
Yeah.
I just think your mind, everybody's mind works in different ways. Mine is not accepting a lot of new.
Liz goes, you
at
didn't.
this age.
Yeah, because she goes, you didn't like it. I go, no. She goes, why? And I said, well, the premise is absurd. I go, he looks lost. I go, that's not the way we are anymore. I go, that's not how it is. So I didn't like it. I don't laugh at anything anymore of the new stuff. You know what I laugh at? I just told you. I laugh at Drewski. I laugh at that. I think that's funny.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it, because
I think you should leave.
Yeah, I think you should leave. In the best thing about it is he's fearless, and Tim Robinson will go to a place that is not funny, and some of it is just fall to the side of the couch and laugh.
70% of it's pretty bad, and the rest of it is amazing.
And that's what makes you keep coming back. And it's the same thing there. And then like these big movies come out, and it's all the same concept. It's all the same crap. It's all recycled. And very rarely do I get excited for Robert Eggers movies. Like The Werewolf is going to be coming out here. We got the email for that, and I'm like, I'm in. That's fish in a barrel. But I'm terrified that I'm going to see a clunker, and then that's going to ruin it for me. So I just keep going back to movies that are comfort for me. The Big Lebowski is comfort for me.
It's always
I'm going to keep going back to it. It's the characters. I get something new out of it every day. Same thing with Trailer Park Boys. Same thing with all those other movies I mentioned. And I just keep going back to that. And it's probably the same reason why I got my son, all my sons, but actually Eli plays it the most. I got my son the newest PlayStation a couple years ago, but I don't play that. I play the PS3 and I play NCAA football 14. And when that thing dies, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's my one little hobby, my one refuge. Are we saying things we can't take back about Donovan Mitchell? I'm serious about this.
Probably.
He is... Guys, he really likes the city. He's connected to the city. I've just heard way too many people over the last few weeks get way too comfortable with trading him. And I understand the future might be bleak because even myself, I'm going, $70 million a year, that's a lot of the cap. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that. A lot of the apron, he's getting a little bit older, but damn, just a month ago, we were talking about him being the second greatest Cavalier to ever wear the uniform. Now, some people are going to be Kyrie Irving fans are going to disagree with that. Some people are going to be Mark Price fans are going to disagree with that.
Kyrie had the better peak moments.
Yeah, the moment's untouchable. But the course of the career, Donovan may very well be the second best Cavalier to do it. That being pointed out, I'm like, man, we're really like, there's a lot of folks who are bothered by the idea of trading away Evan Mobley because he's 24, because we've been calling him the unicorn for so long. And now I've been hearing some stuff going, man, you just are way too... I got to call Daryl I'm like, Daryl, you were being way too quick to wanting to trade Donovan Mitchell. I mean, the guy is the unequivocal, for better for worse, the unequivocal leader of the team. He's been a good citizen, been a good player. I go, I don't think we could just willy-nilly throw out we're trading Donovan Mitchell. Like, yes, maybe I'm being too sensitive about it. Maybe I'm being too sensitive, like I just accused the people about the comedy, right? Maybe I'm being that way. But I'd rather hear, hey, if I have to, maybe I would trade Donovan Mitchell instead of, I'll trade Donovan Mitchell for Jaylen Brown. I'll trade Donovan Mitchell for Giannis. I'll trade Donovan Mitchell for this guy. I'll trade Donovan Mitchell for that. Like, whoa.
I am glad
easy.
you brought this up.
I'm glad I did too.
Because I never really thought about it and been able to put it in the proper context. I have to say, it seems like Clevelanders are being the most unfair that I can remember them being towards an athlete.
But Donovan?
Yes. And here's what I mean by that. Like, the general malaise over the basketball team that we felt this year for, again, yet another year where he was a top 10, top 12, whatever you want to call it, player in the NBA. He's been that good. He's completely raised the floor of a Cleveland sports team. You're not going to have a bad Cleveland team that involves Donovan Mitchell, at least as long as he's close to his prime. It's not going to happen. He guarantees you all these exciting moments. Even during the malaise, he still has these incredible moments. Then, come playoff time, has he not had some of the biggest playoff moments? Right. And he had 39 points in a half, did he not? That just doesn't happen. You can't just create guys like that in a lab. And yet, seems to me nobody really seems to care all that much. Like, he's been drama-free. He's not the diva that we call some of the other athletes. Remember, I always heard people say, man, the thing I hate about LeBron, it's just everything's about him and the dramas. There's been no drama associated with Donovan Mitchell.
If there's been anything about him, he's kept it very quiet. It's all been quiet. It's all been in that building. He's not let think about that. He's not let anything out of that building. No cryptic things. The only thing you can consider kind of cryptic is the let him know tweets, because then you know he's playing that night.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that's kind of cryptic. Some people got upset because he took a picture with the one New York fan, but it's like, well, he grew up in New York. His dad works for the Mets. I don't think it's that big of a deal. That's like the only controversy that's really been around him. You're right.
So I just can't remember a Cleveland athlete this dominant, this drama-free, just not be beloved. I don't know if that's the term. We were talking about like Jose versus
Nick
Myles
Chubb,
Garrett.
Incredible, drama-free. Everybody loves him. Everybody would stop what they're doing right now to help him on the side of the road.
And it's obviously, we didn't draft Donovan, so he was starting at a different point than the rookies as they come up. Like, fans want to love rookies. I'm already seeing with some of these Browns rookies, you're going to love this one and this one and this one. Look at this one.
We treat them as our children.
Yeah,
we do.
We didn't do that with Donovan. He didn't get the benefit of that because you traded so much to get him. It's like, all right, perform. Let's go. Well, he's done that. He has absolutely performed.
I have a theory why. Can I answer that at 8:45?
Yeah.
All right. I want to answer that at 8:45. Mary Kay Cabot going to join us in 5 minutes. Is Denzel Ward's days here numbered, or is it just wishful thinking that we think he's going to spend the rest of his career here with the Cleveland Browns? Because anytime there's any news going on with a defensive backfield in the NFL, you know what name keeps getting brought up. Mary Kay Cabot will answer that question and more coming up in 5 on The Fan. Window Nation, windownation.com.
the risks. Learn more at pausebeforeyouplay.org. Brought to you by the Cuyahoga County Problem Gambling Coalition and the Adams Board. In crisis now, dial 988.
The best Guardians coverage is right here on Cleveland's Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
It's Thursday. It's 8:22. It's time for Mary Kay Cabot. She is on the Wise Heart Right, We Make It Right, call Kyle Wright hotline. She is from the Cleveland Plain Dealer in Cleveland.com. Hello, Mary Kay.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
We're doing wonderful, Mary Kay. There was Taron I keep wanting to call him Armstead.
It's okay. I was calling Zion Williamson Zion Richardson earlier in the show. So it's just one of those
There
days.
really is Zion Richardson. And then I called him Zion. Oh, Mary Kay is at the airport. Okay, Mary Kay, thank you very much for calling us while you're in transit. Can you tell that person behind you to pipe down? We're trying to conduct an interview here.
Responsible radio.
So
For the love of God, tell them to shut up. They all know where they're going. All right. So
quiet until right now.
let me ask you this, Mary Kay. Terrion Arnold has been arrested. He's been brought up on charges of kidnapping. With the Lions,
we can't do it.
I can't do it.
We're doing a very serious story. We can't do it.
Let them get through their spiel. Are you on the plane?
I am on the plane. I thought I could do this, but now they're making these announcements. Okay.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
There's a break in the action here.
All right.
Okay,
She is on the plane. All right. So, all right, Mary Kay, I guess we got to be quick now. Terrion Arnold, might be Dunzo Cremunzo. Is Denzel Ward a legitimate possibility for the Detroit Lions?
I don't think so. I do think that the Browns really want Denzel Ward to be part of this football team this year. He's one of the best leaders on the team. He's one of the best cornerbacks on this football team and in the league, and I'm not really feeling that.
All right, Tone, now go ahead. We got to go quick. Who knows when that plane's going to take off, and that's airplane mode, and this
It's okay
over.
until the next announcement. We're okay for a little bit, I think. Okay. Sorry about this.
No, you're fine. You don't have to apologize for a damn thing. Go ahead.
All right, obviously, we are sitting here waiting for this quarterback competition to rev up again. Mary Kay, you have been all over this. Has anything materially changed, or do you think when we get back to camp, it is going to be Deshaun Watson still front and center?
I think when they get back to camp, I really do believe that it's going to be a robust competition between Deshaun and Shedeur. And I think that one of the interesting developments this week was the fact that Deshaun took it upon himself to come back into town on his summer break. He brought his trainer, Billy, his physical therapist, Billy Voltaire, with him from Florida. And he also brought his quarterbacks coach, Quincy Avery, up here with him. And he was out there throwing to some guys, including Harold Fannin, which was another interesting development because Harold hasn't been practicing this offseason. He has been recovering from an injury, and we haven't seen him out there. So I thought it was very significant that Deshaun came back up here to throw, to train, and I think to show this football team and this coaching staff that he means business here.
Well, as far as I know, Shedeur never left. So why am I giving him credit when Shedeur never left? I want Shedeur to start. Damn it, Mary Kay.
Well, I don't know that Shedeur is here right now. I do think, and maybe he is, but I don't think he is. I think he might be back in Dallas right now. I'm not 100% certain. But I think this was a situation where mostly everybody is cleared out, and Deshaun just kind of came back to really show that he's committed to this thing and that he has no intentions of giving up the reins.
You know, I think we've gotten a couple of things confused here. Not you. I'm talking about guys on the radio here, where it's like Mary Kay Cabot joining us on the show. I think it is acceptable that Shedeur would start the season as the backup quarterback, but I don't think it's preferable. I don't think the best thing for Shedeur is to start for the rest of his career for 15 years and become a Hall of Famer. But I also think it is an acceptable thing with a new head coach and a new offense and everything that he got put behind last year that, hey, it makes sense to, if they had to start Deshaun Watson this season, knowing that probably Shedeur is going to have to come in at some point and some point sooner than later.
It will be interesting to see how it does play out because there is one dynamic here. that I think is very unusual, and that is the fact that Deshaun will probably be more well received on the road than he will be at home. There could be a bit of a hostile environment at home if he's starting and Shedeur is over there on the sidelines. So we'll have to see how that plays out. And I think we'll get a little bit of a taste of it in preseason because I think both of those guys probably will play some in those home preseason games. But for Deshaun to start perhaps 6 of the first 9 on the road, that could really work in his favor and might work in the Browns' favor at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows? I mean, if it works out that way, maybe it would even be better for Shedeur to sort of hang back a little bit, get the lay of the land, see how things are going to work out the kinks in the offense, and then come in at some point during the season. But I have no idea if it's going to work out that way. Shedeur could easily win this starting job. I don't want to say easily, but I mean, he is right in the thick of it. He has a bona fide chance to win the starting job.
Do you think the offense changes depending on who wins the job, or do you think Todd Monken is doing his best to make sure that he's got an offense that both of these quarterbacks can capitalize on?
Well, there will be changes. There will be nuances depending on who starts. Deshaun Watson, obviously, is more of a mobile quarterback. I think he would run more RPOs. I think he would call more designed runs. I think there would be just a different nuance to this offense. But Shedeur has demonstrated that he absolutely can run the keepers and the rollouts, the bootlegs and things like that. So I don't think it's going to have to be drastically different, but you will call a different game for both of those guys.
Mary Kay, are you flying in first class or with the general populace?
I wish I was in first class. No, I am with the general populace, as I always am. And I feel so bad about this. I just wasn't thinking about the announcements. I thought I could get onto the plane nice and early, and we could get through this. So
perfectly fine. Okay, so when Ryan Grigson got hired originally, I'll never forget Lima baiting me into ripping Ryan Grigson because I think that he's the main reason why Andrew Luck retired early with the poor drafting and refusal to help across the offensive line. I'm an offensive line guy, obviously. But it didn't seem that he caused any bit of a problem at all his first stop here. He's back. What role does he help out with Andrew Berry now that he's back in the fold?
I think everything. Coaching, personnel, you name it. Mostly personnel, of course, because he's a former general manager and a long, long time personnel exec. The thing to remember about Ryan Grigson is the fact that he's been associated with winning teams throughout his entire career. I think it's something like 21 out of 26 winning seasons that he's been associated with. So he knows what he's seeing. He knows what he's talking about. He's learned from his mistakes. He is a confidant and a friend to Andrew Berry. Those guys are thought partners. They get along really well. I think Ryan keeps things light. If you guys get a chance to know him a little bit, he's a really cool, fun guy to talk to. I did a feature story on him in 2020 where he talked about how he learned from all of those mistakes that he made in Indy, where, he had guys calling him out for, just being difficult to work with and whatnot. And he learned from all of that, and I think he's imparted a lot of that wisdom onto Andrew Berry.
What do you think of the brain trust as it stands now with some of the changes that have been made over the last few years? Obviously, we know DePodesta is gone, but Chris Polian, even getting the help of Telesco, I think, with the War Room. Do you think they've kind of reinvented themselves on the fly? They've also lost some, personnel guys as well.
Well, I think that Andrew Berry has surrounded himself with a lot of really bright football minds. As you mentioned, Tom Telesco, Ryan Grigson, Chris Polian. Then, of course, he has his own assistant general managers in Catherine Hickman and Glenn Cook. So there are a lot of and Jimmy Ray. So there are a lot of really, really smart guys in this building, and they really are. It takes a village, and they're putting their heads together and coming up with the best roster that they possibly can. And I think that you've seen this in the last 2 seasons, how it's actually played out and how they've had 2 amazing drafts.
Mary Kay Cabot joining us here on the Wise Heart Right, We Make It Right, Call Kyle Right hotline. Does Parker Brailsford, he's a 5th-round pick, does he really have a chance to start this season at center for the Cleveland Browns, like week 1?
Well, he does, and I think that the hope was that he would demonstrate he was ready for that kind of an assignment.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think coming out of spring ball, I actually think that Elton Jenkins has the inside track to start at center right now. Now, if Parker's going to get that job, he's going to really have to show that he's ready for it, and some of it might depend on if they're starting Shedeur. Because would you want a starting center and your starting quarterback to be two rookies when you also have a rookie at left tackle? It might be a little too rookie-centric in that case. So I think there's a world in which they want to go more veteran there. You might have to have Elton Jenkins sliding the protections and doing those kinds of veteran types of things. So we'll see, but I know that they really like Parker Brailsford, and I wouldn't be surprised if he starts at some point this season.
All right, Mary Kay, did the Browns dodge a bullet with the Sorsby ruling, the fact that there was no supplemental draft?
I don't think so. I really don't think they dodged a bullet because I don't think that they were hot on the heels of Brendan Sorsby to begin with. I really don't think that they would have bid on him, and if they had bid on him, I think it probably would have been a later round bid, so I don't think that they would have ended up landing him anyways. So I don't think this rocked their world at all, this latest development.
All right, Mary Kay, I'm going to let you go here after this one. But let me ask you, how many people were at your wedding?
Oh, it was big. And my anniversary is today, by the way.
Well, congratulations to you and your husband. How many years has it been?
33 years.
Oh, my golly. What do you get for the 33rd anniversary?
This trip that they're on.
Oh, yeah. Is that where you're going? Are you guys going on a trip?
No, but yeah, we're going on a trip, but we're 2 years away from a larger, more valuable diamond, so that's not coming this year.
Who's keeping track?
But the trip is. My husband's looking at me like, oh, we are.
Oh my gosh.
But anyways, so yeah, I was kind of hoping that Travis and Taylor would get married today, so that we would share this anniversary. But I think we had close to, how many people did we have at the wedding, Bill? 400 or something? It was a lot. It was a big number.
Oh my God. Well, that's where I was going with it, was the Travis and Taylor wedding. Mary, you got anything left for her?
No, they're all inappropriate questions about the wedding now.
Yeah,
we got
they
to
are.
move on.
Did you have a cookie table at the wedding, or is that just a Youngstown thing?
Did we have a what?
Did you have a cookie table at the wedding?
No, we did not have a cookie table.
Did you play
Your friend Michael Stanley was there, though, I told you.
Did he perform?
I don't remember you telling me he was at your wedding. He was at your wedding?
Yes. No, he did not perform, but yes, he was there. I wish he would have performed. I should have asked him to.
You should have asked him to perform, but he could only perform the chicken dance. Mary Kay, thank you so much for the time. Safe travels to you and your husband.
Stay tuned for more announcements.
We do love you. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thank you. You as well. Mary Kay Cabot on the Wise Heart Right, We Make It Right, Call Kyle Right hotline. Oh, that was bizarre. That was awesome. There were 400 people at my wedding.
Okay. That's amazing. At my wedding, there were like 3 because we were in a courthouse. I can't imagine a 400-person wedding. That is gigantic. And a lot of pressure on the speeches.
But it wasn't a shotgun wedding, your wedding. That's the thing. Even though the pictures would look like it, it wasn't a shotgun wedding. Good for them. Good for Travis and Taylor getting married at Madison
I think it's
Square
tomorrow.
Garden.
They're doing it tomorrow. And it seems like the surprise has been spoiled. It is MSG, all the reporting that has been done. They're going to be confiscating phones. They have got it so that the canopies are restrictive, so there will be no photography. Nobody will be able to get a glimpse of all this. Kenny, I've been dialed in. I've been reading all the reports.
You sell the exclusive rights to the wedding photos is what you do. That's the.
And then are they going to Newport? She has a mansion just outside of Newport, and the question is, will they be boating everybody there? Because you can catch a boat, get over there. Will they be flying? Where will the after parties be? Kenny, the after parties.
We know that there are personal friends of him who are in the area that are flying out today.
And they had to sign NDAs, all of them.
But let me tell you guys this: if you guys could tell this to him, he will appreciate it. Remember, if it's an open bar, I assume it is. Tell him to pace himself, because when it's an open bar, everyone wants to buy the groom a drink. I learned that the hard way my wedding night.
Yeah. Oh, I can't even imagine. People are saying Mary Kay, legend for taking the call on the plane.
It was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. Coming up in 5 minutes, I want to ask you one more thing about Shedeur, okay? And then we won't be fair to anybody until LeBron officially hangs him up. I'll explain it to you coming up on The Fan.
depending on who starts. Deshaun Watson is more of a mobile quarterback. I think he would run more RPOs. I think he would call more designed runs. I think there would be just a different nuance to this offense. But Shedeur has demonstrated that he absolutely can run the keepers and the rollouts, the bootlegs and things like that. I don't think it's going to have to be drastically different, but you will call a different game for both of those guys.
Mary Kay Cabot literally boarding a plane telling us about the Cleveland Browns because there is no offseason to Mary Kay Cabot. Absolutely outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Yeah, I think some people are getting it confused. It's not. I just don't have a problem. Like, I want Shedeur to start. And we're going to get back to the Cavs and Donovan because I knew I wanted something else I wanted to say, but then this kind of took off. There's people who want to get in about this and about everything. The credit being given to Deshaun Watson for coming back here. There's some people who got a problem with that. But I do think when it comes to the quarterback situation, I want Shedeur to start. Do you want Shedeur to start, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the guy who's called the biggest hater on the internet when it comes to Shedeur wants him to start. It's either you or Jason. Jason, who knows what that guy wants. You want him to start. I want him to start. I'd rather have that conversation about him. But I'm willing to accept Deshaun Watson starting because of all the reasons we've said for many, many months. New coach, new system, one guy's a veteran. I don't think it comes down to money. I don't think that Jimmy Haslam cares about money. I don't think he does. I think that they think about the cap hit, the implications, and they'll hold on to him for one more year. That being pointed out, it's not where it's better for him. Better for him is playing. I don't know where people got the idea that it was better for him.
What I just said this,
like Jonathan attacked that the other day, and I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. I hope he doesn't think we're saying it.
Let me explain it better because I said I think it might be more advantageous for him to start the season on the bench to allow the offensive line to gel, to allow all the young skill position players.
It can be advantageous
because I know
for
what's
him.
going to happen. Because the reason I'm jumping to that conclusion, and I get why a lot of people would find it counterintuitive. You know, you want guys in their second year to start right off the bat. The reason is I can already hear the excuses. The excuse-making machine that is some of the Shedeur fans will immediately say if he struggles out of the gates, new offensive line. I mean, come on. They can't be expected to gel right away. Wait a second. Rookie wide receivers. We're targeting rookie wide receivers? Of course they're not going to be ready to go from day one.
You say they're excuses, but what if it ends up being true? Then,
well, it is. I mean, that is. Young players, tend to struggle out of the gates, and offensive lines tend to take time to gel. But, when all is said and done, when we talk about Tim Couch's struggles as a young player, the expansion team, expansion Browns, Chris Palmer, the head coach. This team was terrible. They set up the Browns to fail. All of that is true. Just like, yes, the 4-person quarterback derby last year did not help Shedeur.
Didn't help anybody.
I think we lean on something. Like, you can't tell me I've never heard a Shedeur fan actually admit that their quarterback wasn't that good last year. I just haven't heard one of them admit it. They jump to the excuses, which a lot of them are true. Excuses can also be justifications. But I just know that that's what's going to be said if he struggles out of the gates, if he wins the starting job.
Good old football conversations brought to you on The Fan, and it's presented by Xfinity. Score the most reliable Wi-Fi. One price, 5 years. It's guaranteed. Xfinity. Imagine that. Now, I think it's something that can be acceptable. Because the way you put it, you've always put it in a different way than I would. I try to have a better bedside manner about these things, try to be a little bit nicer about it. It's disappointing. I don't want it to happen that he sits at the beginning of the year. I want him to start. We want him to start. It's an official show stance.
Because we're going to wonder what it means. But why isn't he the starter?
I have to make it's up to him and it's up to the Browns, but it's really up to Shedeur to make the best of a tough situation there. Because obviously he wants to start. But then we looked at it. You're right. The offensive line, which you have 5 new pieces in, could very well struggle. So that would be an advantage maybe to the veteran. So you give them time. That's it. I'm just not going to meet anybody on it's better for Shedeur to sit. And if anybody said that, I think that they're wrong. I think that he should. I want him to start, but I only want him to start if he's ready. If he's not ready, then fine, I'll wait. And I don't care about the whole argument of well, Ken, if he's not ready, then when is he ever going to be ready? Maybe he'll be ready week 4. Or maybe we're just looking at a career backup. Maybe we always have to admit something like that in the back of our heads. I mean, we look forward to things for a reason. when he's ready to play, and I hope he's ready to play week 1, I want him to have a good, fair shot at it because I want the Browns to be able to win. And I do think that you can take advantage, not that it's better for him, but you can take advantage with the right attitude and effort to look at it and slow the game down from the sidelines, know what people are throwing at you, know the challenges which your offensive line is going to give you, know what challenges your new rookie wide receivers are going to give you because they're still rookies. The route tree is going to be a little bit different. The reading coverages as a wide receiver is going to be a little bit different because they shade it better in the NFL than what they're able to do it in college. So some of that's going to take a little bit of time. Hopefully he can take advantage of that when, not if, when he gets his chance. And that's going to be sooner than later.
Yeah, I can't wait, honestly. I know, what was it? Was it Jeremy Fowler that said this is like the quarterback competition, the most legitimate actual quarterback competition there is? I am excited about it, and I want to see what it looks like when they're actually wearing real uniforms and pads and jerseys and guys can hit a little bit.
Cool Ray in Bedford, you're next up on the Fan. Hello, Cool Ray.
Hey, good morning, fellas. First, let me get this out. Lima, you and Mary Kay are the reason why people on national media is saying you guys are Shador bashers. First, let's hit Mary Kay. I never really agree with all her. I'm going to get there. First, with Mary Kay, I've never really agreed with all her takes. But to give Deshaun Watson credit for coming back to Cleveland or doing whatever he did, bringing this quarterback coach and therapist and all that, whoever he brought back, you don't give credit to that. That's not the time to do it right now. It was to do it when the Browns announced their head coach, like Shador. I'm a Shador fan. But when you want to, just like you got a new job, you want to impress your new boss, you show up, you do the work then. Don't come in now after you done had OTAs or mini camp or whatever it is y'all just did, and you see what you was up against, and now you running scared. That's what it sounds like to me. Now you know you got to step your game up. That's what it sounds like to me. I wasn't there. I didn't see any practices. But that's
an
what
interesting interpretation.
Oh, can I tell you real quick? Cool, though, the reason he's getting, and you're right, nobody should really get credit for that. You're trying to win a job.
I made that joke right after, yeah.
But
I got to agree with Cool Ray.
The reason he's getting credit is because the guy was MIA the first chance he got once he got injured. Remember, we kept comparing him to Dak Prescott. And Dak Prescott was hobbling around to go to the Cowboy games. Meanwhile, Deshaun's like, see ya, I'm in Miami. You guys have fun up there. Enjoy the cold.
All that being true, but the time to give flowers was to meet the new head coach was what Shador did before the office was unpacked. Shador showed up. That's what you do.
Because he ain't no dummy. He knows he has to earn that one way or the other, and everything's going to help.
Lima, you just said like it's best for Shador to sit. Or you said you never heard a Shador fan say he was bad.
Actually, that he was not a good quarterback last year.
Here it is. I'm a huge Shador fan. He was horrible last year, but you cannot discredit why he was horrible. That's what you guys are doing. Now, if he comes in and he looks bad, remember all Shador fans kept saying was give him a fair shot. Let him run with the number ones. Let him have a full training camp. He got that now. So if he comes in and look bad, and then it's the second thing you guys are just glancing over. You, Lima, was so scared to call this a rebuild when we called it a rebuild. No, it's not a rebuild. The Browns fans accepted this is a rebuild. But if he comes in and looks bad, not the offensive line, not the receivers, but if he looks bad himself, then we know what we have. Then you sit him down. Then you put Deshaun Watson in. No arguments, because he got his full training camp, he got his full practice, he got his full preseason.
Ray, I don't remember Tone saying that. I swear to God.
You said what now?
I don't remember Tone saying that or not saying it was a rebuild, not being willing to say it was a rebuild.
The here, I called and I was like, it's a rebuild. He was like, no, it's not a rebuild, it's a retool. Y'all kept calling it a retool.
Oh, okay.
Or whatever.
Yeah. I honestly kind of do remember going over the semantics of it. But now we know what it is. And by the way, if Shador struggles, I'm going to point out, just as I did last year,
Hooray, thank you for the call.
He had a lot of terrible things around him. Everything, the coaching, the line, everything. I also think he ran himself into sacks. That was part of a lot of rookies do. That wasn't some big
mystery.
Yeah, I'm not crushing Shador like he doesn't belong in the NFL. I saw some good things from him. I was just saying that it's got to be way better. Because part of it is, and people don't like when I say this, he wasn't a first-round pick. If first-round picks get more opportunity than a fifth-round pick. That's just how the league works.
I mean, I've bagged on you, and I've kind of laughed at some of the things that people have made jokes. I mean, someone saying you had dolphin teeth yesterday was hilarious. Let's say it. But if it were that good, Deshaun wouldn't be in the conversation. They don't want to upset you. I don't like the conversation of what to sell to the fans, because what can you sell? We're going into a year you just traded away Myles Garrett. And I got people in the line who want to trade away Denzel Ward, literally. Guys, it ain't about selling. It's about who you want to see. The fans definitely want to see Shedeur Sanders over Deshaun Watson. I would say the bulk, not everybody, but I would say the vast majority of them want to see Shedeur Sanders over Deshaun Watson. If it were very, very good, he wouldn't be in the conversation. He would just stand on the sidelines. But it is in the conversation. So now the challenge is ahead of Shedeur Sanders. Hopefully he rises to that occasion. Coming up in 5 minutes. I said I was going to do this in this segment, but we got plenty of people wanting to get in on this. We're not going to be fair to anybody until LeBron hangs them up, because there's a weird conversation going on about Donovan Mitchell. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. That's 5 minutes away. Take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app.
This is
I'm Jeff Thomas.
Hear the big moves from around the NBA every 20 minutes. Your source for sports is Cleveland Sports Radio. 92.3 The Fan.
I don't think we're going to be fair to anybody until LeBron hangs them up, Tone. Because I asked you that question. Because it is, like, guys, it is a very distinct possibility this team gets run back. You may have, and I think the Cavs are trying something. They have to. The Cavs are trying something, but they got to be very, very careful about this because it is a good basketball team. Now, you don't believe Philadelphia has passed up the Cavs?
I think a lot of people will say that. I got to see how things fit.
It's a knee-jerk reaction.
Whether
we wanted Jaylen Brown so bad, another team gets him. They were in the playoffs. It is a knee-jerk reaction. You're right.
VJ Edgecombe is up and coming. He had a terrific first year, and Jaylen Brown is awesome. How will it work in the confines of that with Tyrese Maxey, who is awesome as well? We got to see how they round out the rest of the roster, and I got to see what the Cavs do. As of today, fine, go ahead, put Philly ahead of us. I don't think the Cavs have made their move yet. Moves, maybe with an S yet.
I think the Cavs are doing this about as well as they can, which is going to surprise a lot of people because it sounds nonsensical to you because they haven't made those moves, and Jaylen Brown has gone on to the 76ers. Let me explain. You can't let it out that you're thinking about trading Evan Mobley, let alone trying to trade Evan Mobley. You can't let it out that you're thinking about trading Donovan Mitchell or any of that because you have James Harden, who's a pivotal piece to this to you, whether you like it or not. He's a pivotal piece to this franchise right now, and he is out there, and he's working with your team. You have to be very quiet about this. They may have to run this back, but I don't think it's going to be for a lack of effort of trying to make this team better, and that includes finding something to bring along LeBron James to this team, which brings me back to this. Talking about Donovan Mitchell, over the last couple of weeks, we went from Donovan Mitchell being the second greatest Cavalier to ever wear the uniform. Arguably, Kyrie did have a much better moment, clearly. But overall, it would probably be believed by a lot of basketball people. I think it might be 50-50 among fans that Donovan is the second greatest Cavalier to ever play the game for the Cavs. And how people have just, when Evan Mobley gets brought up, and it's not everybody. I'll blame some of us here at the Fan. When Evan Mobley gets brought up, we pucker up immediately and go, what about Donovan? What about Donovan? Trade away Donovan. It's like, well, wait a minute. Donovan's the only tough-talking guy they got. Donovan's a great player. They built this team around Donovan. And I asked you, is it unfair to Donovan? You said, yeah. And you said, we're not fair. And then you hit on something where you were talking and you made me think. And I didn't mean to tune you out because I was thinking about this and I'm going, damn it, where am I going to be able to fit this in? And I got to say it now. I think we can understand that we're just not going to be fair to any player until LeBron's gone. He has to be done playing for us to finally be able to move on and give our unabashed love to another great player. Because there's always a possibility of him coming back. There's always comparison. He's still playing. He's still at a high level, for crying out loud. It's not like he's Vince Carter at the end of a bench. It's not like he's not Michael Conley, who's a great player. He's not LeBron, but you get what I'm pointing out. Like Michael Conley is not the same. We're celebrating just 20 years with Michael Conley. It's not like LeBron. While he continues to be this Zeus, while he continues to be almost a player, a physical being out of Greek mythology, until he is done playing, it is going to be an unfair comparison because we've seen better and we know that better is still possible. Even at 41, the spurts of greatness that we see are still better than what the Cavs have had for a lot of fans in general. And it might not always be true, but are still better than what the Cavs have had over the last 8 years. And because of that, we couldn't be fair to Colin Sexton. We couldn't be fair to Darius. We damn sure can't be fair to Donovan. We can't be fair to Evan. Once you've seen the best, and the best is still out there, how can you keep them down on the farm once they've seen Carl Hungus? You can't do it. And so until he's retired, and if he comes back, we'll keep moving on and everything will be fine. If he doesn't come back, there will still be comparison. Why weren't you good enough for LeBron to come back? Because you hear what's happening here. And I might have to call this one on the fly. Like they had Nick Friedel on yesterday from The Athletic on Afternoon Drive and talking about, well, you guys need to play nostalgia maybe instead of the roster. Brian Windhorst, you got to put together a real good roster to get LeBron back. So you see what's going on here. Because if he doesn't decide to come back, it ain't going to be because he knows he's not loved here. He's beloved here, and they treated his son damn well. We've been nice to him. It's been a great feeling. So if he ends up going to Miami, ends up going to the Warriors, and the 76ers are now a conversation, he ends up going to any one of those teams or anybody else, immediately, the ones that believe that this team needs to be augmented, which is just about everybody, that blame goes on who? It goes on Donovan. Because now not only are you able to get over the hump as you are, you're not good enough for the greatest ever to come back. That's unfair to Donovan Mitchell. That's unfair to every player playing for the Cavs.
I mean, think about it. They've been a really good team with Donovan Mitchell, a team that you would think is a player away from, getting over the next hump. Right? I mean, they're not a perfect team. Who are the perfect teams out there?
There are none.
Nobody thought the Knicks were a perfect team. The teams that were supposed to be perfect were the Boston Celtics 2 years ago, Oklahoma City these last few years.
The league's as unpredictable as it's been in my entire life.
And those teams, Oklahoma City did win a title, 2 years ago. They did not win this year. Boston had 2 bad flameouts in the postseason. So this thought that, Kobe Altman hasn't built a perfect team to be able to reel it in. It's like
it's not going to be perfect.
It doesn't exist.
It's not going to be perfect.
Especially with the cap limitations.
The 76ers who are in this mix, they are not perfect. LeBron knows that. He knows that the Warriors aren't perfect. They're old. He knows that the Cavs aren't perfect for a multitude of reasons. He knows they're not perfect. But if we are so easily turned and say, yeah, trade away Donovan. Yeah, I'll trade away Donovan or Jaylen Brown. I'll trade away Donovan for this guy and that guy. If we're so quick to do that, then how much do we really love Donovan? It seems that Donovan really loves us, but all of us are being very protective. Why? Because who is still out there. And we've seen who, and you can't compare him to who because it's impossible to do. And what's going to be bad about this is if he does decide to go somewhere else, that's going to turn and go right on these players. And I'm right. You know it. Now, I say it's unfair. I think many people might be sitting there saying, Kenny, it might be unfair, but is it true? I don't think we'll know that until the end of this coming season. But I'm right about that, and it is unfair to those guys. So I might be coming off a little bit defensive because Kobe Altman can't just call up and tell the world that he's ready to trade Donovan Mitchell to bring in LeBron, that he's ready to trade Evan Mobley to bring in LeBron. That's insane. He can't do it. So he has to be in a very quiet place where he is criticized every day for not moving.
We've also seen 2 teams now in the East have been able to make significant trades and additions without having to give up any real member of their core. Think about what just transpired with Toronto. Brandon Ingram and got Kawhi Leonard back.
Yeah.
Kawhi was a top 5 player last year when he was healthy. Look at what Philly was just able to do, getting Jaylen Brown and not having to give up, their best players. So it's pretty remarkable that those deals have been done. Does Kobe Altman have a trick up his sleeve at this point? I know he's catching a lot of flack right now because the Cavs have been one of the least talked about, in terms of being able to add to this team at a very pivotal time. What is he up to? That's what we continue to sit here and wonder.
Cavs Conversation brought to you by Surfside Hard Iced Tea. I ask you to please enjoy that hard iced tea responsibly. Now, you misspoke earlier today, and then I just went with you on it, and I apologize on my end because I should have corrected you and I didn't. The new names that are being bandied about, and you brought up these names, they are not easily trusted names. Jaylen Brown, yeah, there's definitely a question about whether or not to trust him, but I think a lot of people would have. I think people trusted Giannis Antetokounmpo even with the injuries there. Now we're bringing up Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Now we're bringing up Zion Williamson, which is...
Yeah, people aren't going to like this because, again...
Zion Williamson at one point was thought to take the mantle from LeBron, like he was going to be the torchbearer. And so that's a disappointment.
I thought he finished the season last year looking as healthy and has...
LeBron might be just what he needs, by the way.
As fleet of foot as he had been in a while.
Could you do something like that?
Yeah. I mean,
would that make you a title contender?
Look, well, here's the deal. They are going. I think.
But you don't have the picks.
I think they are. That is a big problem. That's lost in all of this. Why they haven't been able to make a move or whatever.
If you're giving up Zion Williamson, you need picks.
Well, they it just depends how much they want to get off the contract there in New Orleans. But I will say this. I will be surprised I haven't made any bold predictions about the Cavs because I didn't know whether or not they'd be truly willing to trade Evan Mobley. I do think they're going to trade Jared Allen. I will be pretty surprised if they come back with those two because I think one thing we know has been proven. They cannot, in a postseason, play effectively offensively with both Jared Allen and Evan Mobley together. They're two guys that you just flat out don't have to guard at the perimeter. So you keep the overall
better guy
so
is what you do.
They'll keep Mobley. I think they will move Jared Allen.
I think Jared Allen's way more important than they want to tell you.
Well, he was huge.
I think a lot of Cavs fans agree.
He was huge in 2 Game 7s, and he was important. But if they can't run the offense, if they can't have an offense, what we saw, what the Knicks were able to do, what all these better teams have been able to do is space it offensively. You'll never have great spacing playing those two guys next to each other.
No, you won't.
Because you don't have to guard Jared Allen on the perimeter, and you don't have to guard Evan Mobley at this stage of his career on the perimeter.
I don't know if
you
just
ever
will. I don't know if he ever will.
Well,
Again,
Evan,
just
if he
takes so long.
gets better, if Evan just continues to work on his handles, his outside shooting did take a little bit of a step forward in the playoffs. He hit some big threes, but they're still not guarding him.
Gather and the shot, it's like me trying to get to a point of a story. It's so long, I don't think he's ever going to be that guy. He can be a great player. He could be a multiple-time All-Star. It's not that he's a disappointment or anything like that. That's why they should be very careful about holding on to him. But damn, man, there's not much you can do. And if you want to bring in Zion, fans are not going to be. You think that they were upset about James Harden before? You bring in Zion, the only one who can make that. You're not going after Zion unless you're getting LeBron. So LeBron's going to have to cover for him. That's the only way you can do that. Because Zion Williamson is I think it's a non-starter to a lot of Cavs fans.
Which is funny.
I think they win.
The Zion that came into the league, I thought was going to be a dominant defensive player because of those long arms, because I had seen a guy block so many jump shots in college. Mm-hmm. And then in the NBA, he's just gained so much weight. And a lot of that burst is gone. I did see, though, a Zion Williamson that looked very different at the end of last year. The game against the Cavs, he looked damn near superstar level.
Do you think the Cavs are going about this the right way? And are we being fair to Donovan? Is this just the truth being told, or is this like, hey, this is really an unfair comparison that we're making, but it's only natural because the guy we have to compare him to, the era we have to compare him to, that man is still playing, and we want him back. And we're willing to do great things to bring him back. 216-474-0092. That and you guys want to stop this epidemic of players gambling. A friend to my right has a wild-ass idea on how to do that. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, live on The Fan.
Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
LeBron watches on.
And this fall, I'm going to take my talents to...
Could he make another return to Cleveland? We are the place for all the latest NBA news and rumors. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
I want to point this out before we play this clip that every person who calls you Dolphin Teeth, Mayo Boy, what was the one for the Forest City Auto Parts guy? What you got over there? What? Turn on your mic. They can't hear you.
Jimmy Neutron.
Jimmy Neutron. You blamed it all on yourself now.
Why?
Social media reactions on X are brought to you by
Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
After I said where I'm done talking about the former quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, we're done.
It was a dark time. You really posted that side-by-side that people were sending you?
Benito.
The side-by-side of Johnny Manziel and Shador
because
Sanders
I wanted to
stats.
show how crazy the discourse has gotten. I mean, people are comparing Johnny
football. But it's your history. It's your history. It's blamed right on you.
It's ridiculous. And just because Johnny, in his 9 games compared to Shador's 8, has a better completion percentage, has a better rating, has a better adjusted EPA. I mean, just because he's got all those things over Shador doesn't mean he's better than Shador.
When
That's silly.
when you get the cuss out messages, I just want you to know
whoever made this graphic should be cussed
that's
out.
on you.
Whoever came up
but
with
you
this,
didn't need to share it.
Posting side
you
by
didn't need
side,
to share it.
the detailed comparison
I know
between
what
Johnny
you're doing,
football. They don't.
and
They shouldn't do it. They're wasting their time.
I'm serious. I better not hear any complaining.
And so I post it just to call out the idiocy. So thank you, Kenny,
if you
for
say
providing me the forum.
It's your history. It's blamed right on you. And if I hear one word of complaint next week, because I'm off for the rest of the week, and so are you. If I hear one word of complaint next week, I'm going to walk out of the studio, and you'll host the next segment alone. That's on you.
Men are greater than women.
I keep getting these. I
joke.
keep getting these things, these nasty messages. I keep getting the inbox. I can't believe all these Shador fans are ripping me.
Well, I see that the one part of this, it does say on Shador's side, Pro Bowl 1, Johnny 0, scoreboard, boom, out of here.
Yeah.
So take that, Johnny football fans.
Also, one guy doesn't need to get on podcasts and rip cities.
No.
To make a living anymore.
No. Shador at least studies the tape, goes over the playbook.
I'm not doing this again.
Shows up to work.
Again. I'm not doing this again. I just want you to know that when you get the nastiness, it's blamed on you because you perpetuate it. So let's play another Lima classic.
Let's go.
This is from the podcast on Tuesday, the emerging podcast scene. I kind of went after Jim Bowden yesterday for what he said about what he would do with Cooper Ingle. He said he would option him
Send
right
him
after
down
that.
to Columbus?
I was like, you got to be kidding me. I started making medieval torture jokes. Like, what, is optioning him enough? Should we get a brazen bull? You know what? Is that enough for your bloodlust, everybody, for Cooper Ingle the other day? If he's able to survive the brazen bull, can we put him back in the lineup? Maybe some time in the stockade will do him well. Should we do that? Everybody get tomatoes, and we'll go throw them at the guy. Like, come on. It was a bonehead move. It also happens a handful of times a year. It's happened in Major League Baseball probably before this day, the other day, and it'll probably happen again. It happens. It's stupid. Nobody said it was smart. All right. Here's the other thing that I think I'm going to attack. This is not about Cooper Ingle. This is actually about Malik Beasley.
Yeah, well, yeah, after the Beasley story came out.
Yeah, here's Lima's answer to all these guys who are gambling on sports that they're playing the sports.
Legalize it. Professional athletes, allow them to bet on sports, but they have to put out their bets. All the bets have to be transparent, and upon each business day, every athlete who wants to bet on a sport gets to bet on a sport as much as they want. It has to be out there free and clear for everybody to see.
All right.
Totally transparent. And so I know exactly
you think that they should gamble and that it's out there that they're gambling?
And that it's out there and that it's published and that much like congressmen and their stock trades, which we can now track, we should be able to do that with the athletes, and then we will all know in full transparency exactly what the athletes are going to be wagering on and what they're going to be wagering.
216-474-0092. Do you think that's a good idea?
You tell me.
Kayla thinks it's a good idea.
You guys tell me sports is entertainment. What would be more entertaining than coming up Sunday, the Browns, Jaguars, and Shador is starting, and he's betting on the Browns, $500K.
What do you do if you lay one bet? See, I got to poke holes into this.
Yeah.
Because I bet a lot of people, Kayla nodded her head. She already agrees with you. Transparency.
I thought about Congress as soon as I heard the beginning of it, so it only makes sense.
Not coming in hot. Coming in hot's tomorrow. That's when you can go after Congress. What are you going to do if they bet week 1 and then they don't bet on their team the next week? What are you going to do then?
That's what adds another dimension to this. Are they not as confident about their team? I love it. Think about the Sports Talk Radio that week. Has Shador put a bet down yet? Why hasn't Shador put any money on the Browns? Does he not feel like this is going to be a winner this week? See, this adds to the entertainment.
I want to know if you guys think this is a good idea.
The gambling companies will absolutely love this, obviously, and so too will the NFL.
Why would the gambling companies love it?
That they are showing Shador, download the app, place the bet. It's perfect marketing, as opposed to Sorsby using the app to make $3 bets, and now he's banned from the sport. What do you think the gambling companies like more?
So do they have to have a limit, or do they have to have a minimum? Because $3 bets, like if you put $3 bet, that ain't nothing.
Yeah.
Like you remember the line that, was it Brad Doherty who shared it with us when he played golf with Michael Jordan? How much you want to bet? Whatever makes you uncomfortable.
Right.
Which is, oh God, what a line. Do you have to have a minimum of how much you bet? I'm saying, let me play along with this stupidity here for a moment. Do you have to have a minimum? Because if you're putting down $3 bets, it's like, well, he put $3 bet down because he still doesn't believe that much in his team. Is he unconfident? Like, yeah, let's play along with this. So do you have to have a minimum of a bet?
No. I mean, I in my fantasy world right now, do whatever you can.
And that's what's going to...
So rookies obviously won't have as much money to put down.
Nothing is ever going to be enough then. Yeah. Because if you make a $3... What are you looking at me like that for? If we find out, if we go under this silliness, we'll use Shador as the example again. Why not? He's the guy we want to start anyway. If Shador Sanders only puts down a $3 bet on the Cleveland Browns before his Week 2 football game, that isn't going to be the first question out of the Wizard's mouth. Why didn't he put $5 down? Why can't he make it $20? Why can't he make it $100?
He will be grilled in the press conference.
And that's not right. Don't you understand how dumb that is?
Wait a second. Not right. What is right about any of this stuff? It's sports.
What's wrong about it so far?
We just had a red card that may have completely swayed the rest of the World Cup yesterday.
I'm not talking red cards. I'm not talking World Cup.
Let's have some fun.
No. I'm talking about what your idea is. They're not talking about gambling and red cards in the World Cup. Mm-hmm. Let's stick to where it's at right now. I'm not going to let you do your tricks. Put it on yourself.
Yeah.
I know you, and none of it will be enough. Should there be a maximum? Should there be a maximum of how much you can bet?
Yeah, the leagues will have to talk about that. It'll be in the CBA.
Can you do your entire paycheck for that week?
I mean,
can you gamble away your entire paycheck?
Think about the strategy.
I'm serious. If you're going to do something like this, I need a real answer out of you instead of what I'm hearing, which is nothing but hemming and hawing.
Well, it's just funny to me.
216-474-0092, damn it. Tell me I'm wrong, because this is dumb.
If Malik Beasley was, putting down money on a prop bet. Now, at first I'd say it probably shouldn't have prop bets, and who knows, we might not even be allowed to do prop bets, in 2 years from now in any sport, the way things are trending. But people point to the video and they see Malik Beasley running hog wild
to
go get rebound. What if we knew ahead of time? What if Malik Beasley, under the terms of the agreement, has to put out his bet for that day was more than 5 rebounds? You're telling me that doesn't make an entire arena and the millions watching at home immediately invested in a game they might not otherwise have been invested in?
No.
Holy cow, this is only going to add to the ratings.
No. Are they? Well, you mentioned the props. Are they allowed to put their own props down?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
yeah.
So Malik Beasley's allowed to be a ball hog in that case? And so if his over-under's 19.5,
so it adds,
he can be a ball hog?
Think of how much this adds to team building. Do you not want those types of guys who are betting a little too much publicly on these games? Now I got to take that into consideration as I'm building a culture, I'm building a team. You're just adding another layer of strategy.
Who's to say, by the way,
I haven't heard a bad thing yet here.
Who's to say that everything's up and up? You guys keep talking about Congress and trades like Congress hasn't ever been accused of inside trading.
That's what I'm saying. We now know what they're betting. We know what the president has been investing in. It's amazing.
For a second.
Some transparency.
You don't think
for
that
once.
there's ever been proxies that are used in these situations?
And I'm saying you eliminate the proxies by making they only do that because it's not available to them. It's not legal. I'm trying to make it legal.
Listen to me. Who's to stop if you are that much of a quarterback or that much of a degenerate? Mm-hmm. Who's to stop the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns into publicly putting out there that he made a $100 bet on his football team to win, while quietly with back channels making a $10,000 bet on his team to lose?
Yeah, they can do that now. What's stopping them from doing that now?
What's stopping
Kenny?
them now is that's conspiracy and that's illegal.
And that would be illegal.
So it's only legal if you bet on your own team.
I just said
in your own stats.
I said at the start of this, as we were, in the canoodling process, I said you can only bet on yourself.
The canoodling process.
You can't bet against yourself, right? It's only got to be positive, my team to win. Or if we're going to add the props, they've got to be in the positive. They can't be in the negative. And that would all be spelled out in the terms of engagement.
That's just asinine. There should be no terms of engagement. It shouldn't be allowed. Look at the look on your face.
I think it would be amazing.
I think you just like being difficult, and that's what you're doing. There's no terms of engagement. Terms of service. No.
You're not going for it?
No, because once
you think it would be more entertaining?
What's your definition of entertaining?
That you're watching stuff you wouldn't otherwise watch. Like, do you know how many football games when I see backup quarterback versus backup quarterback?
Like things like
in January, I'm out.
Like
this brings me right back in.
But what's it entertaining and who's it entertaining to? And there's certain levels of entertainment you don't want to go to as a professional sports entity. Faces of Death was entertaining. Bum Fights was entertaining when you're 12 years old. And then you grow up and you go, hey, this is pretty sick. We shouldn't really be doing any of this. This is pretty disgusting.
Let's do a trial year.
No.
Let's see how it works.
And 1 year can one bet can impugn things. You do not want that level.
I think it would even be better instead of what everybody is wondering now with the Sorsby stuff about access to gambling. Has it gone too far? The radio stations and the leagues are partnering up. What
my answer to that is boo-hoo. Everything's supposed to be responsible. Everybody takes money from booze and all the other things.
Fine. What I'm saying is I don't have to bet. Let's let the athletes bet. Let's let them. We already know, first of all, golfers are the biggest degenerates they are. They're always betting on their tournaments behind the scenes. That is one thing every golfer has told me. Those guys, they start gambling in high school.
Told you how many conversations with the golfers, the pro golfers have you had?
I have absolutely talked. Ask anybody who at any of the country clubs.
Well, everybody tells me that I should get my son
gambling on the tour.
Everybody's telling me I should get my son involved in golf instead of football because it's way worse to play football. Meanwhile, you're telling me that I'm going to lead him to a life of degeneracy of gambling if he becomes a professional golfer.
Yeah, wait till you see they'll start smoking earlier. I mean, everybody knows it. That's what the golfing community knows. It's a seedy underbelly. I mean, you think Phil Mickelson just started becoming a sleazebag? Come on, that stuff started grooming. He was groomed into it as part of big golf at a very young age. Tiger, come on.
Who's in charge of big golf?
Greg Norman. That's where it all started. And he brought the Saudis in. This is all part of the plan.
I can't believe you.
And Jesper Parnevik.
Reckless speculation.
How's that for a callback?
Henrik Stenson.
Yeah.
You guys have no idea how powerful he is. Craig Stadler back there, that greedy fat cat.
He literally has a cat that he's petting in a diabolical way. Let's just try. Fine. Not a whole year. Let's do week 1 of the NFL.
No. You can't do that.
Week 1.
You can't do that.
Can you imagine Myles Garrett betting a couple million that he's going to get 3 sacks in his first game against the Browns?
So I won't act stupid. I guarantee it's happened before. I guarantee guys have had their friends put bets on their stats and season stats too. It's absolutely happened because they're athletes and they're adrenaline junkies in so many ways, and that's part of the adrenaline. That's part of the reason you get addicted to the euphoria of winning. But it's a silly notion because you will then make everybody question everything. There's certain things that we're supposed to trust. Hell, you were the one calling out people for doing their own research 6 years ago. Now you just want them to trust everything and everybody? It's interesting here. My, how things change, don't they, Tone? 216-474-0092. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, live on the Fan.
Sponsored by
pressured when it's time to shop for an engagement ring. Stop in and see Josh at Bookman & Son, where jewelry shopping is made easy and comfortable. BookmanandSon.com.
Sign up to be a part of the fan club. Download the free Odyssey app and follow 92.3 The Fan to get all of the best audio and best stories sent straight to your inbox. 92.3thefan.com.
What are you doing for a fourth? You can tell it's the last segment before we leave. Oh, I didn't mean it to be like that. I'm sorry. We're going to do a whole show here. Real quick. What are you doing for the fourth? I'm getting to a point here. I'm getting to somewhere here.
All I know is this. We're going to a German club on the east side on Sunday. We're taking the kids.
You're going to a German club on the 4th of July?
Hell yeah.
Why would you go to the German club on the 4th of July?
My wife's side of the family. This is a heralded institution that has been going on.
But it's the 4th of July.
I know, but that's the day that they are having it.
All right.
It is the 4th of July celebration. It just happens to be.
But it's a celebration of America.
Yeah.
Like, I don't go to the American club on St. Patrick's Day.
Right.
It's not going to. No. No.
I'm sure. Wait, the Italians have I'm sure they'll be setting off fireworks like crazy in Little Italy.
Well, we go to all the Italian stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you go to the feast. You can't miss the feast. I've never been to the feast. No, I've been to the feast one time.
Yeah, let's go this year. Let's go.
Columbus Day, we do it every year. Every year. Over at the church. The reason I bring it up is that I know I turned to special age, and I know the joke is like, well, Kenny, you can pick grilling and barbecue, or you can pick World War II history. You're supposed to like one of those two things. And I like history. Everybody knows that. I do not care about grilling or anything. And I know so many guys who get competitive about it. My neighbor, he is going to grill his ass off, and I am more than happy to just eat it. I do not care.
I'm impressed with the grill master's ability in the insane heat outside, not even talking about the flame, to just do that for hours and love it and not move.
I think part of it is that you're doing something and you don't get – I do think for some guys you're doing something you're not going to be bothered to do something else because you have to pay attention. At least that's what you tell people.
True.
You have
You're
to
not
pay
watching
attention
kids.
to it. Yeah, you're not watching kids. You got something that's hot going on. Something that is relatively dangerous if left in the wrong hands or left unattended. It can be dangerous. So that is part of it. But I'm just like, man, I don't have the patience. I am not interested in I'm just not. And I'm not one of these people. I don't begrudge you for liking it. Like, there are some things that I think are weird. There's just some things that are a bit too far. If you guys are grillers, man, that's what you do. That's your thing. I just never got into it. And there's so many people that think it's weird that I don't. Like, I don't. Black stone, white stone, purple stone, don't know nothing.
The amount of people that have multiple grills now and multiple setups.
My neighbor has it.
It's incredible.
He's got the egg. He's got a regular Weber. He's got the egg, and he has a Blackstone. And they're all next to each other. He's got something else, too. Does the Blackstone or whatever have a smoker attached or something? There's something that has a smoker attached. And he's got the whole thing set up. And he thought, he was showing it off, and I had to fake, yeah.
You did not care.
That's awesome. Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, really? Oh, that's amazing. No kidding. It's that type of thing you throw out there. I just want to swim in your pool. I mean, he's a good guy, don't get me wrong, but I just don't care about grilling. And I'm going to get a bunch of texts going, no, Ken, you need to do it this way. Nope, not interested.
That's
don't
Americana.
Think I ever will.
Then obviously the hot dog stuff, the Coney Island.
I won't watch that. I'm disgusted by that.
Disgusting.
And everybody goes, Kenny, you're a great big fat person.
So disgusting.
And I go, yeah, I know what I look like. I know I'm morbidly obese. That doesn't make me enjoy that. I'm not proud of this. I'm not proud to be this heavy. I do believe in fat shaming myself, and I don't enjoy watching people nearly throw up hot dogs on a stage. I don't enjoy that at all. Plus, it's not even competitive anymore. Like Joey Chestnut, while I say that, I do have a lot of respect for Joey Chestnut because
is he back?
He's turned it into a multifaceted business. He's really been able to reap the rewards of this. I can't call it a skill. I don't know if I want to call it a blessing either. Of whatever that thing is, he's been able to reap the rewards of it. I do respect Joey Chestnut for that. But come on, guys.
What about Kobayashi?
I don't like to eat on camera. I don't like to eat in front of other people. I'm not making a giant spectacle of myself eating and just playing into more of the stereotype of me. What about Kobayashi? Well, he's fallen. He's fallen.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on making everything a smash burger? It seems like everybody is just smashing them down these days. Everything's a smash burger.
Does it taste better that way?
I don't know. I don't think it's...
That's the one where you put the thing on top and you put it right down on the Blackstone, right? Whatever.
I guess. I don't
okay.
know.
I mean, what
everything's
the hell?
A smash burger.
Knock yourself out. As long as it... Do we still have the guys wearing the flannel shirts and they got the man buns and the beard and they're charging you $1,000 for the hamburger, or is that phase gone away? With the hey-ho music, the Lumineers, have we moved on past that phase here in the city? That was a weird. That was a time here in this town. I lived in Tremont during that time. That was something. Diane in Brooklyn, you're next up on the Fan. Hello.
Hi, how you guys doing today?
Diane, we are doing wonderful. Go right on ahead.
Okay, I am a super, super big Cavs fan. I haven't missed a game in over 10 years.
Outstanding.
So, I mean, yeah, I've been through it all with this team, and, you know, I've not even been to the arena hardly, once or twice. Just can't afford to go.
You're in Brooklyn, for the love of God. I mean, everything's expensive. Oh, you're in Brooklyn here. I thought you were in Brooklyn, New York.
No, Brooklyn, Ohio.
All right, John got it mixed up. I'm sorry. Go right on ahead.
Okay, and I've been listening to you guys in the LeBron conversation, and I love LeBron. I mean, I watch all the Lakers games I could, and, you know, I love LeBron. And, yes, I want him to come back. But the one thing that nobody's mentioned is look how far we made it in the playoffs without him. I mean, without him, don't you think adding him would only, you know, make it a for sure kind of thing? I mean, why is everybody upset that we didn't go out and get this player and that player and this player? You guys don't think we have enough?
No. I'm sorry, Diane. You know, you are right, because it is a 4-hour show. People come in and out of it, and they join it a little bit late. And let me clarify, because you make a great point, Diane. We hope you have a wonderful holiday, and thank you very much for listening and calling in. Now, let me explain this. It's all an enticement to bring LeBron back. If we keep hearing about how LeBron is going to want a good roster, he's not going to go to garbage. If we keep hearing about it, like, that's why we made such a big deal about Jaylen Brown. It felt like Jaylen Brown, James Harden, Donovan Mitchell. You probably would have had to give up Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen, LeBron James. I mean, that's fish in a barrel. Everybody likes that. And so it's not about getting those players here and getting rid of these guys as much as it is an enticement for LeBron. LeBron, properly taken care of, can be a big piece to help you get over the hump and win a championship. That's all that was. Because there's a lot of player-to-player trades that I just don't believe in. And I don't want to risk taking this team and turning them around. I still think we got one more year. I think really just one. We got one more year to really pound our way through to get to an NBA Finals. And then I think some people are going to go their own way. I also think that some of that conversation about Donovan Mitchell is that they're really not wanting to sign him to a $70 million a year contract, so you're more willing to trade him the more you talk about that.
But obviously, whichever team...
Even though I said what I said about disrespect, that is part of the...
This is part of the Jaylen Brown discourse, because he's going to be eligible, I think, for even more money, that this is dragging down the returns on players like this because, hey, you don't want to pay Donovan Mitchell $68 to $70+ million a year, right? Nobody really does?
No.
Even though we love him.
$80 million could be a possibility?
No. Up to like, okay. I think it's 72, 73.
That's still a lot.
Either way, you don't want to pay him that. Guess what? Nobody does.
No.
Nobody has. It's been proven, kind of, right? It's been proven probably can't win a title with him as your best player.
That does also make it troublesome because how am I going to move on from him? So now the market changed. You see, this is I do think that this is indicative of the second apron, is that you got less for Jaylen Brown. Well, you just told me, several people have told you over the last couple of days that Jaylen Brown and Donovan Mitchell are more comparable than what we want to imagine. So if they don't really want to pay Donovan Mitchell, will they really want to pay Jaylen Brown? So now you're giving me this possible bill that's going to come due eventually. You're going to get less back in return. Like, everybody's looking at it thinking Boston fleeced the 76ers, or Boston got fleeced by the 76ers, beg your pardon. But if you're not really willing to do it, yeah, the price is going to come down. So the grand plan of trading, quote-unquote, Donovan Mitchell that might change. Now, Evan Mobley, he's 24. That's different.
He's young. He's only 24. He's got a lot of room.
Got to keep your conversation to yourself if you're Kobe Altman. But, yeah, going back to what Diane said, yeah, that's the only reason why. It's not about just trading these guys and getting rid of them and bringing in new guys. I think maybe to some fans it's that way. Not with us. It's what's going to entice LeBron to want to really come back. All right. See, they got a full 4 hours. We could have done the foot out the door show today.
They did.
We wanted to.
We will never stand for that.
No. Even though we did kind of buttress up against grilling this last moment, but that's okay. All right. We hope you guys have a safe and happy 4th. If you're setting off the fireworks, be careful, okay? Make sure you're following all the local ordinances, okay? Make sure of it. Thanks to everybody who joined us today. Mary Kay was outstanding. Thanks to Mary Kay. She was on the plane.
What a trooper.
Still did the hit. What a person. What a lady. Thanks to her. Thanks to Kayla, for Jeff, for John, for the slippery wizard, Anthony Lima. Good luck to your mentions after what you posted, that side-by-side of those two quarterbacks. I'm Ken Carman. Have a wonderful day and weekend and holiday, my friends. Go Guardians. Big series this weekend.
Hey, sounds good.